It's the cold hard truth. Everyone really want to know what's going on with her show. Just get on the air and you will know it's Sandra. The queen of the mile road is here, helping people from everywhere. Get on the phone and you will hear Sandra. Now she will tell you how it goes, but don't you ever step on her toes, 'cause you will hear the cold hard truth from Sandra. They say she's the hero in town, helping people from all around. You get a call, your money is found, it's Sandra. Some will call her late at night just to say that there is a fight, and she will not just leave it alone. She'll get up and call on the phone, and when politics starts on her show, everyone really wants to know the way the things will really go with Sandra. And some will start to criticize, get on the show and tell pure lies, but someday we'll realize it's Sandra. And when they start to argue again, she'll pull the heads to the wind, and soon you will be a friend of Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone wanna hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone wanna hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone got to hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone got to hear from Sandra.
Yeehaw! Good morning, good morning, good morning, beautiful people. How is everybody doing this lovely, lovely, lovely Thursday morning? Friday, part one, as I like to say, is here. We are live and direct. I'm trying to figure out where the, I don't think we're live and direct on Facebook, though. Hold on. Wait a minute, honey child. We should be, so give me 1 second. Oh, no, we're not. My apologies. It was selecting the wrong Facebook page. Let me just fix that. I could tell based on the numbers that something's a bit off this morning. So give me one quick jiffy here, and we're going to get that sorted out, honey child. Hello, good folks. What's going on? Everybody good? Yes, lovely. Beautiful. All right, let me just refresh, and we should be now on the correct Facebook page. Nice. Oh, I got to click on Save Changes first. There we go. All right, that'll come up in just a second. And then, beautiful. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Wrong one. Let me just take my time here, make sure I'm putting in the right links where they should go. Yes. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I think did I do it? Yes. It takes a second now to probably start up. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. All right. Now we're live in Facebook. Goody, goody, goody. Lovely. Good morning, Facebook folks. My apologies. Totally my fault. I had, when I scheduled it last night, had the wrong Facebook page connected on the back end. So now it's corrected, and I'll send out the links to everyone. Yes. Lots of moving parts in the morning as always, but that's okay. We got it. We got it. We got it. All right. Everybody's doing good. So someone was trying to find a previous show, and it can be tricky, especially if you're looking at Facebook these days. It can be tricky to find it because they now have reels. So the reels are a little bit different. Yep. So that's okay. But if you ever need a show, just message me. I'm happy. I'm happy to okay. Yes. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Wonderful. Okay. So yes, good morning. Good morning. Pleasant good morning to all of you. I see you. I see you. Instagram. Y'all are good. Let me double check the phone lines. Good, good, good. I think I might have to charge the phone later on today. And I believe we are solid now. We should be good on all fronts. And yeah, all right. Ready to get this show on the road. So Friday part 1, tomorrow's Friday, rolling right into the weekend. And I've had a number of people, the politics have came on heating up a little bit. So I know it's been a while that we've not touched on anything political. So we'll do a little bit of that today. Everything in my mind is actually political because, you know, every decision that's made, there's normally some degree of politics around it, my darlings. But anyway, this is, I guess, much more directly political with the progressives trying a thing. So we're going to talk about that this morning. By the way, I forgot to wish the deputy leader of the opposition, Kenneth Bryan, a happy birthday last week. I think Saturday was actually his birthday. And I always do a birthday shout out for Kenneth, you know, despite whatever, we may have different views politically at times and whatever. I still, you know, he's a Georgetowner. And in fact, he's a cousin down the line somewhere. And it's no skin off anybody's back to wish people a lovely and amazing happy birthday. So Kenneth, happy belated birthday. We're going to be talking about you today, honey chill. So before we get to that, let's wish him a happy belated birthday. Yeah, I think it was either Saturday or Sunday. Oh gosh, I can't remember now. Yeah. I mean, I don't have these birthdays saved in my calendar or anything. So if you guys don't remind me, sometimes I forget. So yeah, happy birthday to him. Belated. And lots of birthdays obviously coming up. I got a birthday myself next month, God's willing. Woohoo. Oh yeah. Rolling right into it, my darlings. I normally don't do a whole lot for my birthdays anymore, especially since Gigi is like literally the week before. She tends to get the trip. She gets the attention. She gets the gifts. This year, we actually did her birthday party with her school friends earlier because she never gets to celebrate with them. So we did a little thing with her and them. So she has tons of presents unopened because she had to wait. She got to open like one. And then she'll open the rest on her birthday. Well, technically the day after because we won't be here for her birthday, but she'll do it the day after. So, yeah. Other than that, we are good around here. Zeus had his birthday in February, so Marlon and Zeus are in February, and me and Gigi are in August. Yeah. Zeus is now 3 years old. I was trying to remember how old he was the other day. I was like, do I have his age right? Because Gigi keeps thinking he's like 1 or 2. I'm like, no, he was actually 3 this year. So he was 3 in February. I almost got another dog the other day. Oh my gosh. This little dog was up for free because his mama's moving to the UK and he's so cute. 9 years old. But she did say that he has enjoyed a life of being by himself, and so he enjoys his own peace and quiet. And I understand. I understand that some dogs are not into the having a companion. Although you'd be surprised, we as humans think that because they've never actually had one. And then when they get a companion that is there with them full time, yes, they do fight sometimes. I've had dogs. I've had 2 dogs before. And just like human beings, there are times that they get on each other's nerves. They fight over toys. Oh my God, those of you who have dogs, you might know this. But they will fight over their possessions. Yes, honey, child. They get possessive over their little toys. And if one's playing with it and the other one tries to take it, oh, they're going to have a little fight. But by and large, I thought that having 2 was, the pros and cons to everything. They really enjoyed each other's company, though. Oh, they were so close. I had Oscar first, and then I got Rupert when Oscar was about 1. And right away, Oscar's demeanor changed to be so like the big brother. He was just like, he would let Rupert eat first when he was a baby. And in fact, for a week, I had traveled and left them with our in-laws in Orlando. And when I came back, Rupert had doubled his size in a week. And I was just like, that's not the dog that I left you. What happened to my dog? And they were like, oh, we don't know. What I discovered was they would put out the food and not monitor what was happening. So Oscar would just sit back and allow Rupert to eat all the food. Like literally, he would just sit there and allow him to eat the food. And because they didn't realize that that was happening, he was eating way more than what he should have been eating. Like, you give him a scoop and he was like a hungry little puppy. So when I came back and he had doubled his weight, I was like, what the heck? This is not my dog. So I had to really separate the 2 of them when it came to feeding time until they got in a better routine. Because, yeah, he was just scuffing down the food. I was like, this is unreal. But it was so funny to see how quickly Oscar adapted to having a little brother around. And, they played so well together. But then as they got older, definitely Rupert was the bigger dog. He's about 65 pounds. He was a lab mix. Very, very, the smartest dog I have ever had. He was so smart. That dog could spell. Like you could spell something and he knew exactly what you were spelling. He was so smart. Oh my God. So he was super smart. Oscar was, I say that he was a child. I think he prepared me for motherhood because he's like the child that only a mother could love. When you have some problem kids, passive aggressive and whatever, and the mother knows her child and she knows how to deal with him. And he was that kid. He was that dog. Yep. So I often reflect on his personality type and I'm like, yeah, he prepared me for just in case I have a child like him, honey child. But he was still so sweet. That part of his personality was always there, but he could be a little bit naughty. He's the dog that was going to walk up to a child on the beach and knock the food out of their hand and just steal it. And you're like, what the heck? Yeah, he was rude like that. And then he'd go pee on somebody's towel on the beach because he just felt like it. And you're so embarrassed. So we always had to keep an eye on him. He had a very different temperament. Sweet, but a little unpredictable at times. And then Rupert, oh my God, he was just the sweetest little thing. It was having that dog that I realized that dogs have conscience. They actually have a conscience. And I know that sounds weird. And if you never had a dog, You may not know this, but he knew when he would have an accident. He was very, despite being so incredibly intelligent, for whatever reason, he was very hard to potty train. He was the hardest dog that I've had to potty train, I think. And he used to have a lot of accidents, you know, so we kennel trained him. He had to stay in his kennel and stuff. And then sometimes we'd be home and he'd just go lie down and sleep in his kennel anyway. He's like, oh, that's my little den, I'm fine. But he was very, very challenging to potty train. So sometimes we would leave him out and come home and find a surprise. Surprise, there's something in the corner for you to clean up. But he would be sitting by the front door, and he would literally be sitting there with his head down. You knew that he had an accident. You didn't have to go and find it. You knew just because of his demeanor. And then it's like he wanted you to just yell at him, get it over with. And then after that, he was fine. And I'm like, this dog actually has a conscience. Like, he's by the front door. Like, I know I did wrong. I'm so sorry. His head was down in his eyes. I was like, oh, my sweet. Why did you go potty inside? And then after you cleaned it up and everything, he's like, okay, we're good. Everything's back to normal. Oscar, on the other hand, he was like a little Houdini. You could not read that dog. He'd be up to the most mischief, and he's just smiling in your face. Like I said, they prepare you for motherhood. He'd be smiling in your face like nothing. And he reminded me of my childhood friend, Amanda, because she used to do that all the time. She'd be getting in trouble, and she'd just be sitting there smiling. And my poor Aunt Lottie would be like, oh, Amanda. And I would be like, you had to see me rolling my eyes like, oh, my God, this child almost got us kidnapped at the mall. And my aunt's sitting here talking like, oh, Amanda's so sweet. I'm like, yeah, when she get kidnapped by a serial killer, you're going to know how sweet she is. Like, seriously, I got to tell y'all the story about Amanda in the mall. Like, these big men was coming up to us trying to talk to us. I'm like, no. I mean, I knew about stranger danger and whatever, and I was not into it. And she is trying to give up my aunt's number so that these men can call my aunt. I almost punched a man in the head. I was like, Amanda, if you get me in trouble, or worse yet, kidnapped and killed, I'm going to come back from the beyond and beat you up. I was like, you can't do this. She's from Cayman. So I was like, Amanda, this is not Cayman. Like, I don't know what you guys have going on there, but these people kidnap you. You'll be on the 6 o'clock news. Good morning, caller.
Yes, good morning, Sandy. How are you doing today?
I'm not bad. How are you?
I'm good. This is Sean Ebanks, your friend.
From the BRAC?
No, Sean Ebanks from West Bay.
Oh,
Captain Sean. I took you to Stingray City, you and your husband. I'm not sure if your daughter was born yet.
Oh gosh,
or maybe you kissed the good luck. You kissed the Stingray on that tour, and that's what gave you the good luck to get your baby. I can't remember.
That was when we were at the Finn. Was it that trip?
No. This was I would want to say 12, 14 years ago, Sunday. I don't know.
Lord have mercy. You're going way back now. Yeah. That would have been before her time.
Exactly. So I'm saying, okay. So you didn't get the good luck from my trip then to get your beautiful daughter. So that's all right.
I'm sure it helped. 7 years of good luck. So I'm sure it helped.
Okay. All right. Yeah, there you
What's on your mind this beautiful Thursday?
Well.
Oh yes, I have zero complaints.
So I got a lot on my mind.
Oh Lord.
Me, but I'm dealing with a particular issue here, and it's very frustrating because it almost seems like you know I'm being intentionally being stopped from getting what I'm trying to get. Okay. And what I'm trying to get is not a lot.
All right.
I'm trying to get, so you know, I'm in the water sports stuff.
Yes.
You know, I came out of some spa stores. That's the name of the company. And we've been doing this business forever. Now, so recently I said, let me get a little bus so I can help bring my people down to the boat and this and that, you know, water sports bus license. So I applied for that, did the test. You get 2 tests. You can get 2 tries at the first test paper. So the first test paper, I really didn't study for it because I said, I know it all. You know, that's the wrong thing to think sometimes.
Yeah.
But anyway, I scored the passing mark is 70, and I scored 54 or 55. I think it was without even studying for the test. So I said, all right, Sean, you don't know it all. You got to study a little bit and go back and do it. But they give you a chance to review each test.
Okay.
So on the first test, I went back to review, see where I went wrong and stuff like that. So where I need to study and what things that I need to work on,
Yes.
And so while reviewing that test, Andy, I found where I think it was 5 or 6 questions, right, where the test scorer himself marked it wrong where it was right. So I take it back into him. I say, look, this is right. This is it. When he do his research, oh yeah, that's right. 5 different times the little young guy that works there had to take the paper back into him for him to correct these things. Now, my problem is this. If the test scorer himself, who should know all the right answers, right? You agree?
So
if he's getting it wrong.
Let me ask you a question now. Some of those that they had wrong, did you actually get right in the end?
Yeah, yes, they were right. But he marked them wrong. And then, so anyway, I don't want to make a long, big story because it's going very deep here, but I don't want to explain everything. I'm just trying to give you in a nutshell the problem. The problem that I have is the test scorer, because he himself seems to need he needs to do a test as well, because he doesn't. How can a test scorer be getting so many right answers wrong, marking them wrong?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I did the test over again. And sure enough, so on the second test, I got, I think it was 65.5%. Right. So I reviewed that one. Sure enough, there was 2 other questions there that he had marked wrong that was right. And so I had a meeting with
how hard can this be, really, to have the right answers?
No, I mean, it's not a hard test, but there's some
I'm
some trick questions in there.
I don't understand why he keeps getting them wrong.
Wrong, exactly. And this is my problem, because I've sent the minister a message on this, Minister J.E. Banks, that falls on his ministry, and he said he has someone looking into it, because to me it does feel like this is being done intentionally to me. I don't want to sound like I'm a target here, but I kind of feel like it, right? And target of incompetence, the incompetence of the person that's scoring the test.
Yeah, poor him.
That person should not be there.
Exactly.
That person should not be there.
Yeah.
And that person is Kim Ramon. I don't know if I get in trouble for that, but
if it's factual, it's factual, right? You can't get in trouble for telling the facts.
So yesterday, in the meeting that we had,
tell me again, what is this license for? What did you say it was for?
This is a public transport license for water sports. That's for water sports. That's for water sports.
Okay.
It's not a tour license. That's water sports, bringing the people down. Those people don't ask a lot of questions. The most questions that those people ask on that kind of bus is about the stingrays and the water and what boat you have and the risk license. None of those kind of questions are on this water sports test paper.
So what are they testing you on? What sort of questions are they asking you about? Like, is it about the tourism product?
One or two about that, and then the Pride 10 promises of the Tide Pride course. I see. Locations of this, something about in Cameron Brack. I mean, I'm not going to drive my bus over to Cameron Brack, so I don't know what they got questions with Cameron Brack in there. But anyway, the questions that really involve water sports here in Cayman Islands, like the Riz license. What is the Riz license? How many? What type of stingrays do we have here? Those kind of questions should be there. But anyway, that's for them to sort out. So this was last week, Friday. I called him. I said, look, I need to speak with the director, how I'm with him and everybody. I'm getting a little feedback. I'm not
sorry, that was me. I've just fixed it. But it sounds like there's just some incompetence happening here. Somebody on the show said bad mind, but I wouldn't go as saying bad mind. I think it's just
I think it's a combination. That's what I think. Combination. But anyway, so I had the meeting with him yesterday. He called me, just Ken Ramon called me on Friday or whatever it was, saying, "Can you come in? Can you come in on Wednesday? So we'll have a meeting with the director and myself and you." So I go there yesterday. The director is missing in action. He's not there, and there's only 2 other PTU officers there. He starts the meeting very hostile. Oh, he's been looking right, so that's what we're gonna do now. So you got this one wrong and that one wrong, and here's the right answer. He had this paper with the right answer. I said, well, you better have that paper when you were scoring it initially. This right answer paper that you have, you should have had that when you were scoring it. I said, where's my first? Can I see my first test paper, because we want to compare the two to see, the discrepancies that you made there, and I might actually have passed the second one. No, you can't see that. You already reviewed that. I said, well, so you want to get 2 chances at you got test paper 1 and test paper 2. After that, you go on to a complete different test altogether. So I can't do the first 2 tests back over. So why can't I see the other test, the first test paper, and we compare the 2? But he refused to do that.
Does the test paper change every time you sit it?
No, you have 2 tries at the first test paper, and then if you fail that, then the next test paper is a little bit different apparently. So I'm going to go do that and make sure that I pass. But the incompetence of this guy, I don't really want him marking my test. So I told the minister that. I said, listen, something is not right with this guy here, and he seemed to be very incompetent in his job, and something needs to be done. It needs to be looked into it. So it's being looked into. But anyway, let me get back to the meeting yesterday. After we had this back and forth, and he's telling me all kind of stuff. He then accused me that I'm running an illegal business. I said, I'm running an illegal business? What are you talking about, kid? And he says, well, yeah, that business you got to have on my uniform, my shirt, my uniform shirt. Came on some sparse too. I said, bro, you must be losing your mind here, because I said, this business is licensed and insured. And I said, if you got any issues with that, you can call the Department of Commerce Investment and look at my license. My license is up to date. So I don't know what you're talking about, bro. So that again now also made me feel like it's something personal. Because why is he going into so deep into my other? I'm trying to get a PTU license for a bus here. This is nothing to do with the water sport. It's completely different. Wow. Completely different. Yeah, right? I tell you what, if something not done with this guy, and I can only imagine the amount of people that he have probably failed through the same thing, that the people that said, okay, I failed, that's, went about their jolly way and didn't get through with, trying to get something that can make a livelihood for him, right? So he needs this position that he's in. It needs to be looked at. Maybe he needs to be moved from that position, or he needs to do a test himself, and so that he understands what he's scoring. Yeah. Because how can you get 5 and 6 and 7 questions wrong? You're the test scorer. I cannot see that. That's for a government department, a government entity. That is ridiculous and a shame.
I mean, this should be a no-brainer, because that person should have the correct answers. I mean, I don't know how you're scoring it and don't have a correct answer sheet.
Exactly. But yesterday he had something. I said, but why didn't you don't have this when you scored the test initially, or what? Yeah. What I can't understand it, Sandy. But anyway, I'm a determined person, and I will get through. And if not, then I'll just hire somebody to do that part. I mean, I really got a ship tour that I really subcontract my transport out to a local company who does a very great job on that. And but I'm trying to do something. I'm trying to create another tour that is not being offered by any tour company yet. And that's why I'm trying to get my own little bus to do that, because the subcontractor who I use, they have other business as well, so they wouldn't be able to probably cater to this new thing that I'm trying to do. But anyway, I will get through. But I just wanted to because I told you, I said, bro, I'm going to expose you everywhere I can, because you should not be in this position. If you're the test scorer and you're getting the answers wrong yourself, you should not be the test scorer.
Yeah, something. As simple as that. Yeah, something don't sound right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna look into it for you. I'll reach out to the ministry and see what's going on.
I don't know, and they seem to be covering up for each other. Put it well up in there. The minister said he got someone looking into it. I said, well, I hope that person you got looking into it is not like what I seen there yesterday. because they seem to all be covering up for each other and trying to protect each other, you know?
Someone
Besides,
say,
one gentleman was there. One gentleman was there.
I gotta give you one joke in the comment section. Anthony says Sean must have got one of Kim's Spaniards. I don't even know which Kim. I don't know which Ramon this is. I'd probably have to see a picture. But
Kim Ramon, former police.
I need to see him, man. I need to see him.
He got two good brothers, Lee and Anthony, but I don't know about Kim. Kim is something is wrong with Kim. I don't know what's wrong with Kim.
I need to see a picture because I don't know the Ramones that well to be able to visualize them in my head.
Yeah, good people. I thought Kim was I have no issues with Kim in my whole life, like the whole family.
Yeah.
I'm friends with all of them. So I don't know what the issue is there.
Yeah, it just sounds like incompetence. But you know what happens is sometimes when you call out people for being incompetent, then they get in their feelings and then they be trying to prove a thing, you know?
Yeah, well,
so that's a problem. But we'll look into it. Like I said, I'm not really sure that I know Kim, but it doesn't matter. If you got the answer sheet, you should be getting it correct. And that is, you know, that's what it is. But I just had to give you that little joke.
The test scorers on this should not be getting anything wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
That's as simple as that.
Yeah.
You know. So what was the joke that the person in the comment what was the joke?
No, he said Sean must have got one of Kim's Spaniards. I guess he likes Spanish women.
Well, you know what? I just got rid of one of them. I hope that'll be the case. And I can tell you what, he got that one, he better get rid of her too. But anyway, have a good day. Love you, Sandy. Love you.
Thank you, my dear. Have a good one.
All right.
Yes, sir. That is some honesty for you. Lord Jesus, y'all cracks me up. I can't with you on some mornings. He said he just got bored of one of them. Ay, ay, ay. Good morning, Mr. Calvin. How you doing? How's Tampa? Beautiful Tampa. I soon come, mama. I soon come. Yeah, love me some Tampa these days. I've had a rekindling love. I was going to Miami so much, I feel like I kind of forgot how amazing Tampa is, and then found a reason to go back to Tampa, and I'm just, you know, in love with it all over again. A lot has changed. Mind you, it's not the same city I left all those moons ago. How many years now? Like 30 years ago? Oh my God, so long. All right, Shaka says that Caymanian trying to do the right thing and facing this level of unnecessary madness. Yeah, I mean, I tell you, we gotta figure this out because this don't sound too good. Anybody else have issues with public transport? This person says he works at public transport. He used to be a police officer, Anthony Ramon's brother. And Lee Ramon's brother. I don't really know the Ramones like that. And I'm pretty sure I'm probably family to the Ramones somewhere down the line, but I just do not know them. I always have to remind people because I grew up in the States. There are family connections that I don't, you know, because Caymanians you guys are the best with pinpointing who somebody, oh yeah, but you remember he went to school, my sister's like you can pinpoint somebody's age in Cayman quicker than anything because all you have to do is figure out when they went to school, who they graduated with, he was like a year ahead of me or a year behind me. I don't have those reference points at all. So a lot of times when people say, I'm like, okay, I need to see a picture. I'm like, show me a picture and then I can kind of, you know, take it from there. But yeah. So I don't know which one Kim is. I feel like, I mean, obviously Lee, he's the one who plays football a lot, right? And then what's the other brother name? Anthony, he's the one who ran for office last time. So I feel like visually I know those two, but I'm not so sure I know who Kim is. Kim is Lee and Anthony's auntie's brother. Sean is Jordana's uncle. Okay, yeah, I didn't even pick up on that, but okay. He's no fool and not afraid to speak out at any topic. Auntie ran for Georgetown Central. With Andre and them. Yes. So I know that. Sweet laugh for Thursday morning. This person says, good morning. This way it is. You'd have to be a Caymanian to maybe get that reference. But she said, boy, this is where it is. Good morning, Sandy. I'm just tuning in and listening to the caller about a water sports license. I mean, how can that happen? As wouldn't the correct answers to the test questions be written down? So it's easy to grade, and shouldn't there be an oversight committee that is responsible for providing the questions and answers? Look now, I'm sitting here going, this should be, oh yeah, look at my little clapping emoji. This should be a no-brainer. So I'm not sure how you grading a test and getting it wrong as the grader. That don't even make sense. So I don't know. That's weird. And I think that if there's a meeting that's to happen afterwards, I don't know where the director was, but he definitely should have been there. Lord have mercy. Sean, I'm sorry. I don't even know what to tell you, except we will bring it to the attention of the ministry. I know you said you've spoken to the minister, but sometimes the ministers have to be very careful about how they approach these things and who they talk to. It should really be a line of like, this is how a complaint like this is handled. But thank you for bringing it to our attention because, yeah. So this other person says, good morning. Incompetence is more common than malfeasance, but they often coexist. What is the appeal process to remark the test? Normally, there are prescribed procedures for academic appeals. And this is what I'm saying. Like there should be like, you should even have to go to the minister because there should be a specific process. But if he has already admitted that he has, gotten wrong answers, not only on one, but on two tests, I think we got a problem. So he was a policeman. I don't think I've really ever had any direct experience with him. But yeah, that's wild. That is wild. Wow. Hot tamales, honey child. Hot tamales. All right. Aye. The things that make you go, huh? That was one of them. Good morning, Miss Lucille. Yes, Tina says the test scorer should have a test key. Exactly. How difficult can this be? I mean, if there are multiple tests, I wonder if he had them confused. I don't know how you're getting things wrong yourself, but that certainly speaks to the examiner, the test, and the test key. Something is not lining up there. Abby says you should do a walkthrough of USF next visit. I'm glad you reminded me because the last time I was there, I ran out of time because normally we're so close like Orlando. We do other stuff to kind of show Gigi that Florida is a vast state with lots of different cities and areas and stuff. And we will be spending some time in Orlando again this time. So that'll be 4 days on my trip. But you're absolutely right. I did a drive through the campus last time. And I was shocked at how much USF has changed. There's so many buildings now. And I was just wait a minute. We had this much land space when I was there and didn't recognize it. But we had a lot of open space. All of that has been taken up. Around the campus now house fraternity and sorority row. Back in my day, that was not there. The Excellence Apartment is now called something else. It's total. It looks different in a lot of different ways. But more importantly, I need to go take a tour of the Oracle, the old newspaper that I used to work at, my old stomping grounds there. And I want to try to dig up my old articles. So I need to go in the archives and see if I can show you guys back in the day who I was interviewing and what articles. This was the days before we had all these fancy fandangling computers now, like how we do now. It wasn't online. So, but they should have it in the archives there. So I will try to reach out to their USF Oracle staff again. And because I used to have a clipping of all of my publications, and I don't know, I moved to Cayman and that book somehow it disappeared. But I do want to keep that for, just good memories. But I had some really interesting interviews. I actually interviewed this guy who was from the United Arab Emirates, and he was a guest speaker on campus, talking about U.S. and Middle Eastern, relations way back. This would have been in the 90s. That was a thing even back then. I know it's been a thing forever, right? And so that was so interesting. I got to interview the first female president of USF, Miss Betty Castor. Oh my God, some good memories at USF. It was a coming of age time, when you grow up and you learn a lot very, very quickly. Have so many amazing experience, so many Like it was my first kind of like I got to meet international people. Like I had friendship with a lot of I was a resident assistant on the international floor. So I got to meet a lot of people from like Japan, France. There was this one guy, his name was Ludovic. Man, I want to know where he is because he was so talented as an artist. He was actually being commissioned by the president of France at the time. No clue who that was, but he was being commissioned to do like an art piece for him. That's how talented Ludovic was. Oh my God. Yeah. And we used to go and play tennis together. We would, I had my little bicycle, was cycling all over campus. Oh, the winter months. Those were some good memories. Of course, it was also a challenging time, working full time as a university student, and then also having to navigate my classes and my class schedule, opening my first bank account, learning about budgets and credit and all this kind of stuff. It was just, Abby, some amazing memories. Lulu, that was your school? Aw, big shout out to the Bulls. Anybody else? Alma mater? USF? The Bulls. And then I drove by my old campus, Chamberlain High School. They've changed. We used to be the Chiefs. And because of all this politically correct stuff, Indian Chiefs apparently is no longer politically correct. So now they are something else. And this year they actually had a reunion in March. I want to say it was our 30th reunion from high school graduation. And I wanted to go, but unfortunately, that's when I was scheduled to go to Ecuador. And they only have them every couple of years. So I've never been to high school reunions. So I'm hoping that the next one they have, I'll be able to, go to that because definitely I want to be there. I want to at least have one high school reunion, see who's still around, see what they did with their lives, if anything. High school was also a very, very interesting time. We had a lot of interesting students. But I always hung out with the international students. Even in high school, I had a really good friend in Spanish class. Cecilia was from Peru, I think. Cecilia Garin. She ended up going into the military and she became a doctor, really, really smart. But I don't know why she's taking Spanish because obviously from Peru, she spoke Spanish. But I think it was she wanted to take one class where she didn't have to really work that hard. She was going to get an A. But she was really, really smart and she did very, very well. I want to say she might have been, I don't know that we were in the same graduating year. I think she was a little bit older than me, but Spanish was an elective. So sometimes you had like mixed groups in that class. But she was really nice. We used to play tennis and stuff together a lot at our school. And then there was a guy that I had the biggest crush on. I want to say he was Puerto Rican. I can't quite remember which Spanish country, but I think it's Puerto Rico. But I was thinking about him this week because someone was saying to me, somebody just had a baby and their oldest son is going to be like 18 years old and they just have like a 6-week-old. I was like, oh my God, some people really stretched it out. And it made me think of him because when we were in high school, we had driver's ed together. His mom had a baby and he loved his little brother. He was like the best. He's like, oh, I have to babysit my little brother this weekend. And I was just that's what I liked about him. The fact that he was really looking out for, UCF, not USF, Central Florida. But yeah, he was just so nice. Oh my gosh, he was so cute. So nice and so cute. Let me think now. Who else did it? Oh my gosh, you want to hear about my crushes? In high school? No. Middle school. Was that middle school or high school? That might have been high school. I had a crush on this guy. I swear he was from the Middle East. His parents must have been Middle Eastern because he just had that, olive skin, the thick black hair. There's something with me and men with nice thick hair. Like I love to see a man with a full head of hair, not the bald headed guy that I sat in with typing class. Like he was not attractive because he was already going bald. And I was like, poor him, already going bald in high school. Anyway, but this guy, this is middle school. Now I'm thinking about it. I can actually see the corridor and we had music class together. And so he was in music class. I think he was a little bit older than me. So we didn't have any other classes together, but he had a white patch, this big white patch, white hair in the front of his thing. And that was very, very distinctive. But of course, he was older than me. And no, I was not allowed to date. Definitely not in junior high school. You would have been kidding. And not even in high school. No dating allowed. Aunt Lottie was not about that life. You're not here to be dating. You're here to focus on school. So, honey, child, it was at USF that I got my first boyfriend and, started to live a little bit and all those interesting things that go along with navigating relationships. Oh, the level of immaturity when you're in university, though, and you've never had like a relationship. Yeah. What a hot mess. Marjorie says, I lived near USF and I love that place. I always used to go to the library there and drive around the very large campus. That was 1987 to 1990. So you would have left, Marjorie. I didn't graduate high school till 91. Then I started university right away. So yeah, I was there after that, but awesome library. I also went to events there as well. A beautiful Indian dance is one of my fond memories there. Oh, nice. Yeah, so I will try to go on campus because the funny thing is Marlon's cousin, our cousin, he's my cousin now too, but Marlon's cousin is actually on the board at USF. So he's always giving me little USF memorabilia and whatever. So I'm going to get him to arrange a proper tour for me this trip, maybe just a day to kind of walk around campus. But a lot has changed, like all the buildings and stuff, they look so different. Like a lot of the open lawn space is now new buildings are there. And, but yeah, USF was a good school then. And it seems like it is just excellent. Oh, thanks, Lulu. It's an excellent school now. They didn't have a football team when I was there. They had basketball because there was a kid in my high school who got a basketball scholarship to go to USF. So even the surrounding area has changed significantly. Do you remember, I don't know if it's still there, but there used to be a Piccadilly's and a Target on... Was that Fowler or Fletcher? Which one comes first off the interstate? Like when you're coming from like downtown, because they run parallel to each other. So one is Fowler and one is Fletcher. I can never remember which is which, but the one like where the credit union used to be in more of the medical stuff, that one, I think that's Fowler. I can't remember. But we used to walk all the way from Fontana Hall, and it was a good little walk, but it was good. And we would go down to this plaza. They had a Target in there, and back then, this was pretty new. They had a Target, they had a Piccadilly's. I can't remember what else was in that plaza, but that was like a treat to go and eat with the old folks at Piccadilly's. But listen, the pricing at Piccadilly's was just right. You didn't need a whole lot of money, and you could sit there and get a home cooked meal. So yeah. So Lulu Duke Ebanks said I had a crush on you though. What? You mean that's what I was thinking, that I had a crush on him? I don't even know who Duke Ebanks is. White Patch, Roy Bodden, he had a what? No. He was not Caymanian. This was a guy who, like I said, I think his parents must have been like Middle Eastern or something. There's something distinctively different about him culturally, I remember. But no, he wasn't a Caymanian. There was no Caymanians. Listen, definitely no Caymanians going to Chamberlain High School when I was there. And when I went to USF, there would have been very few Caymanians there. The first Caymanian I met at USF was actually Peter Campbell. I met Peter because I was dating a guy from Sri Lanka. Peter was dating this beautiful Indian woman. Oh my God, she was drop dead, gorgeous, beautiful. And we met at they were having like an Indian party. So, we would go and support each other. So he went to, if there was like a Caribbean Association party, Black Student Union party, whatever. And so he went to that, Prakash went to that, and we ran into Peter. And I saw him, and I don't remember how I figured out he's from Cayman, probably the accent. And we started talking, and he's like, oh, I'm from the Cayman. And I was like, oh, wow. So that Peter was the first person I met. And then I met the Byron brothers when I was showing them their apartment at the Excellence that they wanted to rent, because that was a brand new building. And I was helping with the leasing out of it and whatever. And I met Cassandra Powell. And those were like the only Caymanians I met when I was there. Like, I think Caymanians, I know, back in those days, Caymanians used to go to University of Tampa, like hot. Because when I was graduating high school, I did a tour of the University of Tampa, tour of USF, because I knew my aunt was not going to let me go far, honey. She was just really like, so I had to stay within state. And at least my first year, she's like, we're going to have you live at home. And I was like, ugh, give me my wings, woman. I had to take my own wings. I had to clip out of there. But anyway, I went to University of Tampa, and they gave me it's a beautiful campus. It's a historical campus. I love the feel of it. But I realized because of the money, UT is very expensive because of private school. And it was very Caymanian. They had like a whole wing for Caymanian students. That was a thing. And I was like, I said to them, I said, I'm Caymanian, yes, but I haven't lived in Cayman. I grew up in the States, so I don't know any of these people. So that would be foreign for me to all of a sudden live in a dorm with a bunch of Caymanians. But having said that, when they were telling me, oh, we love Caymanians, and then I realized they loved Anna because your government was paying good scholarship money for y'all to go to this private school. And I was like, oh, by the way, I am not a Caymanian even in that regard. Like, I'm not coming in a government scholarship. I don't even know if I could have applied. Maybe, I don't know. It never even occurred to me. I was trying to get scholarships within the US, right? So I'm like, I'm paying for this out of pocket and myself and whatever little scholarships I can pull together. So I am not going to be that money bag of a student that you're looking for. And ultimately, that's why I didn't choose University of Tampa. I'm like, this is going to be too expensive for me. Like, I have to be realistic about what I can afford. So I went to the public university and had a great experience. Andrew says, Auntie had you under strict manners. Hello, you better believe it, honey child. Morning, Annette. PPM sus now. Okay, we come strong-willed. Relax. Is that one Fowler? Thank you. Anthony says both Fowler Avenue and Fletcher run east to west, meaning that they cross paths with major north-south arteries who do not run parallel to downtown Tampa. No, they run parallel to each other. So then USF is in between them. So one is, okay, which one is where that would be Moseley, the Museum of Science? Is that Fletcher or is that Fowler? Because one is there, and then the other side of campus is the other one, but I can never remember which one. Piccadilly Cafeteria was in the West Shore Mall too. Well, West Shore was like a little drive from us, so. And West Shore, by the way, aren't they tearing that mall down now? Man, that mall has gone through so many changes over the years. Lulu says that plaza had a girls' store for cheap. Can't remember the name of the store in that plaza, but that's where I bought all of my clothing while in uni. So that one's Fowler, not Fletcher. I think Jean Panton went to USF as well. Yes, I've heard that. I think she went to USF, but I would not have... I don't know. I think they came after me because I think Wayne is, how old is Wayne Panton? No. They would have been before me, in fact, because he's older than me. So Wayne Panton and Miss Jean, they're probably just a few years older. So I never knew them either at that time. So yeah, but it's a great school. Really, really great school. I absolutely love it. Yep. Auntie, so much guys you dated. I did not date any of them. I just had a lot of crushes. Nope. Was not allowed to date. That was not happening. Nope. I just look at him and be like, oh my God. Eye candy. He's so cute. But you know, Aunt Lottie, she date? Are you kidding me? You're not dating under her roof. No. I took the Byron guy to USF, and the first day he went to university from the airport, his mom was so grateful. Wow. I'm surprised, Marjorie, that I never ran into you, because him and his brother came and did a tour, and I think they ended up leasing and staying there, as I recall. And then I can't remember if they had a brother, another roommate or somebody as well, because they got like a 2 or 3 bedroom. Like that was like the place to be. I don't know if you remember the Excellence, but it was like brand new build, and it was like the place to be for, everybody who's trying to be somebody, I guess. Had a very interesting design concept. And the guy who built it, part of the family, they were multimillionaires, and he was from Argentina. I want to say he was Argentinian. He was from Argentina. Speaking of Argentina, what about that game yesterday? Oh my God. He was from Argentina, but they were Jewish people. So apparently, during World War II, there were a bunch of Jews that left and ran from Germany and then ended up all over South America and all over the place. And there's like a cluster of them in Argentina. And so very well to do. And he's building this really nice complex. And I have a funny story about him because he fancied himself part of the construction crew. So one day he was there in the bulldozer, like, using all the gears and moving around, whatever. And his sister came on site to check out the project. And he accidentally ripped off like the side of her Jaguar, I think it was, some fancy car she had. And he was like, oh no. And she's like, you're going to be buying me a new car. And I'm looking at him going, you guys can afford it. Don't worry about it. But that was one of my university hustle jobs. I had a few things I had to do to make ends meet, honey child. I actually worked, and this is one of the funniest stories. I did it was like a telemarketing job where we would call center job. I did a call center job. Yeah. Not for long though, because I was like, oh God, this is just not for me. But we'd get a list of people to call. I can't remember what service we were selling. And yeah, we had to call them and sell them something. And always trying to upsell, and what a pain. I worked at Walmart. That was another one of my jobs. Yep. And I started at the photography studio. And then they saw the store manager saw such great potential. And he's like, oh, we need you working for Walmart for like the team. Because the photography studio was another company. So they sent us for like a week-long training in Orlando about how to use the cameras and how to upsell to the customer and all that kind of stuff. This was back in the day where you'd go in there and take family photos and stuff. Christmas time is super busy. So yeah, so the store poached me from the photography company, and then I became a manager. So I was a CSM, customer service manager. And so they're the ones who walk around with the keys and they can help with stuff at the register. But a lot of times I got stuck in the layaway department. Hasn't the world changed in an amazing way? Do they still do layaway? I've not seen or heard of layaway in a really long time. But anyway, there was a whole layaway department back then. And so like months before Christmas, people would come in and start putting Christmas gifts on layaway for the kids, and every month just come and pay off. But boy, we used to get some ratchet ghetto people coming through layaway. Oh yeah, I made a payment and you guys aren't entering my payment. I'm like, please stop trying to steal toys for Christmas. You look like the Grinch and not Santa Claus. Live within your means. Those are some good days, boy, I tell you what. My favorite street is still Mabry. That runs a good ways. Those are all the action was with the go-go clubs. Well, I don't know anything about that, but okay. Blissful Powell, good morning to you. All right. Oh, Lord have mercy. YouTubers had enough. So, Miss Brenda says, good morning. So you were the one that started all the scamming, right? Oh, my God. Yeah, they take it to a different level now. I bet now that you are a mother, you probably appreciate the values your Aunt Lottie passed on. Yeah, I mean, listen, she was super strict. And but I understand why she was the way that she was. And there's something to be said for that. If you understand the why, it can certainly help you digest a lot of things. She was still too strict, but she had a reason to be, because I think, number one, I wasn't her child. So I think her greatest fear was something happening to me. And then her having to call my dad to say, oh my God, that Tampa serial killer took Sandy away. So, she was strict because I wasn't her child, but I think she was just strict anyway. But yeah. Good morning, caller.
Yes, Sandy, it's Sean again.
Hey, Sean.
I just want to make another point here. I don't really think there is like a test key per se, because some of the answers, some of the questions is multiple choice, and then some are written. And I think with the written answers, some of them can be quite long. And if you just, I think what happened is that the test scorer, the test scorer uses their discretion sometimes. If the answer that you put is kind of roundabout right, maybe not exact, but right, that they can say, well, okay, he or she must have studied that question, they know the answer. they would use their discretion and give you the mark, or they could not. It depends on who he is. I guess in my case, maybe that's my problem. But I also suggested to the minister that it should all be multiple choice. That way, the answers, they can have all the answers there, and then you have to choose the correct one, right? So that way they can properly monitor. They can have a test key to go by. You see what I'm saying? So
yeah, because even let me be clear. I understand. I mean, thanks for clarifying this, because it does make a difference if it's straight multiple choice versus an essay style.
It's a mixture.
Yeah,
it's a mixture.
But even essay questions, if you as the scorer know what you're doing, you know what you're looking for in an essay question.
Them wrong.
Yeah,
you should not get them wrong, and that's my biggest gripe. He should not. The scorer, he or she, whoever that is, should not be getting anything wrong.
And the ones, do you remember the ones that he got wrong? Was it the multiple choice questions or the essay questions, or a combination?
Was a combination on the first paper. The second paper, the reason why I reviewed the second paper, because I know he made a lot of mistakes on the first one. So my second one was just a question, really, which would probably give me my passing mark. And he, because I didn't get it, I didn't explain it in full. It's like a whole paragraph. The answer is like a whole thing, but I kind of gave it in a roundabout way, which would have indicated that, okay, I must have obviously studied that and seen that in the study material that they give you, right? And he decided on his own, I guess, no, I'm not going to give you that mark. But in the first test, as far as I remember, he did give me that correct. That's why I wanted him to bring the first test paper, and then we can compare the two and see what, so I can prove my point. But he refused to bring the first to show me the first test paper. And I mean, that's wrong, because I can't do those tests back. I would say it doesn't matter if I see him again or not, right? So why wasn't I should have been allowed to prove my point. I should have been able to see the first test paper along with the second one, so that I can I can prove to him where he had again went wrong. But if you mark that one right in the first paper, why would you mark it wrong in the second paper, unless you made a complete mistake again?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
But this thing needs to be a bit more simple. Come on. I mean, it's driving a bus down. The question you're going to get from a water sports perspective, it's questions about stingrays and what is the wildlife interaction zone. What is these kind of things. There is questions in there about the zoning and marine life and all that kind of stuff. There's questions like that in the test paper, right? Which I think I got most of them right. But
right.
I think the test need to be all multiple choice, because if they're looking for anybody taking the test to have it word for word exact, then a lot of people would probably fail, because some answers is quite lengthy,
right.
And when you're doing a whole 3 pages of stuff, it's kind of hard to remember everything word for word. So it should be all multiple choice, and it should be other questions in there direct related to water sports. But anyway, I just want to make that point clear.
Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right. Have a good day.
Thank you. All right, so we got some people here who are asking for updates on a few things. So Island Pearl says some people can read but can't write in detail, so maybe it's also a way to test competency as well. I mean, you have to make sure these things make sense for the actual job. Like, you know what I mean? Like, is he writing stuff down for tourists when he's driving them somewhere? I would hope to God not. You can't be driving and writing at the same time. So I don't know. I think maybe the whole test needs to be looked at and revamped. From what I'm hearing, it sounds a little bit, I mean, what they should do is an oral test, because it's not how you're going to be communicating with the tourists. Like, make it practical. Take them out on the bus and say, right, tourists asking you these questions. I don't know how much interaction, if he's driving the bus. I mean, I guess you can have a little script and you can tell people, okay, we're passing beautiful Cayman Bay, and this was 20. I mean, I don't know what on earth a bus driver, it's a tour bus and you're telling them about they're going to Stingray City, or you prepping them for Stingray City. What they need to make sure is they tell them don't take them damn stingrays out of the water. and that they treat them. It should be more of an environmental exam than anything else. So I don't know. I mean, I'd like to see this test for myself. Somebody said if they had given him money, he would have passed the test, implying that there's some underhanded stuff going on there. I don't know anything about that, and there better not be. But maybe it's time to review the test and see, what is really, really going on here. Thank you so much. Gabby says, can I just say, saw what I believe were some of the Coast Guard officers yesterday in their formal uniforms. And my God, they remind me of the uniform of the U.S. Navy blue suit with the white hat. What handsome men. Aw. YouTuber says, I bet the test score is more lenient with who he prefers. That is potentially the problem that you run into with essay style questions. So I don't know. If he's marking right questions wrong, then he's also marking wrong questions right. This test sounds like it needs to be electronic. Mm-hmm. All right, caller, can we get to the sus for today? All right, let's talk about the sus. Let's talk about political sus first of all. So last week, we saw that OFRAG, ERCO, as their proper title is, had to issue a statement and put certain politicians, namely Kenneth Bryan, who's deputy leader of the opposition, and what's the leader? I forget the leader of the opposition's name because Kenneth, he be rolling like he's a leader. The Honorable Joey Hugh. Yes. So OFRAG had to issue a statement to say, listen, we're not here to play politics, right? We are here to speak the cold, hard truth. Now, it is interesting, and I'm going to share an interview. I haven't shared it yet, but this was the headline for KB did a video. Let me see if I can find his video. Yes, this is politics. It's posturing. I get it. They have to keep relevant in the eyes of the community. First of all, the opposition does have a job to do, right? By and large, most people, I feel like, are happy with this coalition government and what they have going on, but not necessarily everyone. And regardless, the opposition always needs to be keeping a keen eye on how things are going, what's happening in the community, and if there are some ways in which the government is not doing a sufficient enough job, then yeah, it is the opposition's job to call that out and to highlight that. I don't mind that at all. What I do think, though, is happening here is, the opposition, they'll always be up in their feelings that they didn't take the government. And it's a little bit like, the kid who doesn't get their way, and then they're going to just make your life miserable the whole time because they didn't get the little piece of candy, or they're not playing on the winning team. Okay, here's a perfect analogy. When you're in school and you're playing, what's the one ball where you throw the ball at each other? Doesn't matter what sport it is, but that's the one that came to my mind. And you get to pick sides, right? They want to be on the team. Kenneth wanted to be on the winning team. Who can blame him? Doesn't everybody want to be on the winning team? But unfortunately for Kenneth, the people on the winning team, they don't really rate him like that. And, I know he's been working hard to get over there with them, despite him now being a PPM member. I bet you right now, if anybody in the government called him and said, Kenneth, dodgeball, thank you, Damon. If they say, come on over with the NCFC government, leave the progressives, Kenneth would not even think twice. Y'all don't know. He not that loyal to anybody. Okay, sorry, progressives. Sorry, Kenneth, but we speak the truth around here. He would be gone in a jiffy. Mm-hmm. And especially how he see PPM not gonna be getting no positions for a long, long time. So, Kenneth is doing his job. I'm not mad about it, but I do think that you need to be accurate, Kenneth. And this is where OFRAG had to make a statement, and even the government was like, y'all need to just do better, right? Call the government to account, absolutely, but do it with the truth. You can't just claim that here's who's really blamed for the rising bills. You can't just blame this government for something that they haven't done wrong. Listen to what Kenneth had to say, and then we can digest it a bit more. Hold on, let me pull him out and in again. There we go.
I'm deeply concerned about the continuous rise in the cost of living across our islands. Just when families and small businesses are struggling to keep up with the compounding expenses like higher water bills, rising fuel, increased healthcare costs, sky-high rents, and escalating grocery bills, we are now hit with another blow, an increase in the electricity rates from CUC. Now, we all understand that the utility companies operate within the legal frameworks that they have with the Cayman Islands government. But the CUC is the only sole provider for electricity in Grand Cayman. And when major rates increase hits during an ongoing cost of living crisis, the public deserves to know what the government is actively doing or stepping in to advocate on their behalf. Why hasn't there been an immediate effort by this administration to engage CUC and negotiate at the very least a temporary delay or mitigation to these rate hikes? The silence of this government is deafening on this issue while people continue to suffer the economic fallout. Ladies and gentlemen, leadership isn't just about acknowledging that inflation is rising. It's about taking proactive steps to cushion the blow for the people that you serve. Our community deserves clear answers, transparent communication, and immediate action to ease the burden. We cannot simply sit back and watch the cost of living go unchecked. It's time for the government to step up, speak up, and deliver real solutions for the people of the Cayman Islands, especially when it concerns the cost of living.
All right. So, my question is this. Okay. Do y'all actually think that the government is sitting down on their hands and doing absolutely nothing? That's the first question I have. The second question is, what else could they have done other than what they have done? All right, let's break it down. Ronaldo, if you wasn't a Trump supporter, I would love you a little bit more. Because some days you got plenty of common sense, except when it comes to defending Trump and his nonsense. He says, this looks like CITN 27 news report. I love it. Kenneth can't help himself. He's a news reporter first and foremost, so he cannot help. CMR might have to soon hire him for the newsroom. Yes, he cannot help himself doing these style videos, but you know what? I'm not mad about it. I like it. I like this kind of short video. Go get him, Kenneth, except, again, you got to talk facts. What is it that the government could do, okay? It's easy to say we all are being impacted by the rise of fuel, healthcare costs. Yeah, we were impacted with those things under your government as well. Right, Paula? Paula says, I think this government inherited a mess that he was in last time. Remember, he was a minister. So we inherited their overspending under the Honorable Juliana O'Connor Conley, over building a school in the BRAC that nobody needs, right? Overspending on every single project, not in budget. And then they inherited foolishness from the progressives, which he's now a part of. Listen, the progressives has controlled this country longer than anybody else. So in my opinion, when I hear them talking about the issues that we're facing, I'm like, take several seats. All the way in the back of the classroom. In fact, you should be in the class next door. Because you guys are just like, really? What did they do? Let me ask you a question. Because none of the issues that we're facing today are new issues, okay? So I want to know, what did the progressives do to solve our problems when they were in power? I got to tell you what they did. Let me just go back in my archives for a minute. Roy Tatum, no, not Roy Tatum, former Premier Roy McTaggart. You know what he said when he was in government? Let me see if I can find this. Yep, this was 2022. Y'all know this is why, honey child, we got to keep our archive stuff when it comes to, because these politicians think that we forget. Yes, they do. And we're not forgetting nothing around. Yeah, We're going to keep you accountable. So let me see what he said all those years ago about the cost of living. Hold on, honey child. Let's pull up the video and see what he said at the time. Mm-hmm.
And that would bring also the cost
Yeah,
of
so this
living
was
down.
during a chamber debate.
Thank you, sir. Mr. McTaggart?
Let me pump
Thank
up
you,
the volume.
Shamari. I really have to be honest with the viewing public and
honest.
to everyone tonight. When it comes to the cost of living, in terms of the everyday things that we consume,
Yes.
there's very little that we can do about it.
Hold on a minute. What did Mr. McTaggart said when they were in power, when they were in control? Allow me to rewind that again for your benefit, honey child. Listen carefully. Can all y'all hear it good on radio? It is a little bit low, so let me make sure I pump up the thing there all the way up, and I want you to hear what Mr. McTaggart said. If you listen to yesterday's show, and we were talking about the food, the cost of groceries, right? The impact that fuel has on all of these things. Take yesterday's show, now this, what we're discussing now, and you put it together and listen. Mr. McTaggart told the truth at that time. You don't get to create a different narrative now that you're not in power. Listen carefully.
Thank you, sir. Mr. McTaggart?
Thank you, Shamari. I really have to be honest with the viewing public and to everyone tonight. When it comes to the cost of living, in terms of the everyday things that we consume, there's very little that we can do about it.
Really?
Simple reason is, been alluded to earlier, 80 to 90% of all that we consume in this country is imported.
Aye.
And it comes at a cost. So when there is inflation in the country of the source of our imports, we import that inflation into the country as well. And we saw that effect over this past year and throughout the pandemic, where prices spiked in the US, and so prices here in terms of consumption goods spiked as well. But we've also seen, a real return and reduction in the level of inflation and the cost of living as well, because prices have settled down and returned to a more normal level. Now, in terms of cost of living, there are a few options that we have available to us, and these are things that we can control ourselves or influence ourselves. I look at the cost of healthcare and health insurance. A lot of the cost there is being driven by people going overseas for medical care to where? Florida, the most expensive healthcare system in the world. If we were to make more use and full use.
All right, we don't even need to hear the rest because I think you get the point, right? So here we have and thank you for the correction, Marshall. Roy McTaggart was never premier. I meant to say leader of the opposition because he never got the privilege of being premier. You're correct. Listen, he was leader of the progressives, and he said it in his own words, right? There is very little that they can do. What changed from when he said that to now? How can the same leadership, right? Because Mr. Joey Hugh, oh God, do I have the right brother? Yes. Joey Hugh was there in the PPM at the time. He's still there. So what has changed between then and now? Does the Cayman Islands have more of an influence on the international front? Are they controlling Trump? Are they controlling the war in Iran? Are they controlling fuel costs? No, 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 and no. Right? So the 99% of the reason why we are paying what we pay in fuel cost, and what we pay in our CUC bill is because of that fuel factor. Yes? And that fuel factor is a pass-through cost. They do not mark that up. They don't make money in fuel. Whatever they pay for that month of usage, you're going to pay for that month of usage. Now, I know y'all like to cuss CUC, and you can choose to do so, but you got to come with your facts when you do, right? They're the only entity in Cayman that is as transparent as they are on their billing. When you go to the grocery store, any grocery store, I don't care, pick any one you want, Kirk Colonel's, Foster's, Kirk Market, Foster's, Hurley's, it doesn't matter. When you see the cost of milk, Are they telling you what duty they paid on the milk? Are they telling you the cost of the fuel to get it? No, nobody breaks down your bills like CUC. And I think it's a good thing, because then you have the option, the liberty to look at your bill and actually see, what is my usage? What am I paying for? So remember last week when we were going over this, I said, look at your bill, look at your consumption. Look at all of the factors that make your bill go up. I don't complain about my bill. Why? Because I know what I am using. So hold on a second here now. Let me see. I think this is one of my bills, honey chill. Trying to see. Yep. This is different periods of time. So again, I can go through and look at my consumption. All right. So I think this is the latest one now that come in that making everybody's heart skip a beat. Yes. Look at my kilowatt usage. Right? Usage. Over 4,000 kilowatts. You think I'm sitting here thinking that I didn't use that? So you see, not pretending and not marking that up and claiming that I used something that I didn't use. Here's the other thing that you guys might not know. There's actually someone who, may he rest in peace. His position, I guess, will be up for advertisement here shortly. But there's someone who actually worked at OFREG, ERCO. His job was to sit down and double check and cross check that whenever CUC says, okay, this person used this and this, he actually sat down and analyzed and make sure that even down to the fuel consumption that they're not lying about this. That is part of what OFREG does. They verify. If CUC said, this is what we paid for fuel during that period of time, they actually get reports from CUCs. Now, don't think I'm explaining 100%, because I'm really not, but this is in layman's understanding. They get reports from CUC's generators, right? To say this is what was generated, yada, yada, yada. And he looks at it and compares it. And if they're off by 1 or 2%, more than 1 or 2%, they have to answer to that. So there's no bamboozling here. And I do not blame the head of OFREG or ERCO. Like I said, they're going by kind of both names now. Mr. Sammy Jackson, I do not blame him one bit for issuing a statement, because one thing that's a little bit different, he just got his tenure renewed by this current government as chairman of the OFREG board. But one thing that is a little bit different than with Sammy Jackson than other past, board chairman is Sammy not going to sit there and make you guys tell lies on him, and he's not going to respond. And who can blame the man? Honestly, who can blame him? So he said, no. You all are not going to get to make this kind of statement. Inaccurate statement, by the way, right? I'm trying to find that article now. And make it look like, oh, CUC is getting this this increase and we're allowing it and this and that. No. We can set the record straight here. The contract that CUC has is actually a contract that was negotiated under the Progressives government. Why they're not talking that? If they want you to believe that there's something untowards in terms of what has happened with CUC, why don't they talk about they're the ones who negotiated the very contract that now they're trying to say the government should go behind and not allow the terms of the contract to be followed? Do you know what happens when you do that kind of thing? Huh? What you do is you open yourself up for litigation, being sued. If the contract says that CUC is entitled to this annual increase, that's what they're entitled to. How can you think that you can be breaching the terms of a contract without repercussions? And trust me, CUC will sue you. Now, here's the thing, right? There's an implication in what Kenneth said that, oh, they could defer it. I'm going to try. It's a big interview, so I don't know if it's going to upload, but we're going to play it probably on tomorrow's show if the premier doesn't come on, because I know the premier was planning on coming on. If he doesn't come on, I will be playing the interview that we did on Saturday for the Minister of Finance and Economic Development, the Honorable Ralston England, because there is a part in there where we actually address and talk about CUC, right? He explained it so well. One thing I got to rate Ralston with is he has a knack for breaking things down and explaining it so the simplest person can understand. What they're always talking about, deferring they're entitled, because in the contract, deferring their entitled increase, right? What does a deference do to you exactly? This is what I want to know. How does that help the people of the Cayman Islands? Because all you're doing is you're kicking the football from here until 5 or 6 months from now, but you still got to pay for it. Does that make any sense? This is kind of like people, yesterday we were talking about fiscal responsibility and, doing the right thing by your mortgages and your land payments and whatever, right? This is you telling the bank, I can't pay now, right? So give me a couple months of no payment. And in your head, you're now thinking that means you're not going to pay for it? Oh, you can pay for it. You either pay now or you pay later. That's the only option. And why, ask yourself this question, why is it fair to CUC? They are a publicly traded company. Some of you are even shareholders, so these decisions impact you from that perspective. Why is it fair for them to continue delaying what is due to them? When you owe the bank's money, you can go and tell the bank that, just defer that payment for me. I'll get around to paying you eventually. No. That's not how this works. That is not how this works. So deferring it doesn't help anything in the long term. That is a short-sighted trick to make you think that you're not going to pay it during these months. If you don't have the money now, where are you getting in a couple months? What are you deferring it for? All right. Yes, I have solar. Who's asking me about solar? Yes, I have solar. By the way, because remember now, the fuel duty per person isn't really all that much. That's why when y'all are like, oh my gosh, there's not much money I get in my per person, what government is charging for fuel. And that's why I keep telling y'all, even when y'all came up with that solution, because this isn't new. The same progressive government or whoever it was did this before, where they waived the fuel, right? And there's other elements to it as well. We need to fully have that explained to us. But this government fuel duty on my bill, as you can see, is only $58.20. But guess what? Unlike the rest of you, I don't get it. You know why I didn't get it? Because if you are a solar customer, I didn't even know this until 2 days ago. Apparently, if you're a solar customer, you don't get the benefit of the government relief. I was like, what? Wait a minute. But I'm not paying bills the same way? Are you penalizing me for thinking ahead and being a solar customer? Well, I guess the thinking is you're already getting relief from your solar. Fair point. So I'm not going to complain too much. I'm just saying I didn't know that I don't get the same relief that all of you are getting who don't have solar. But guess what? I can tell you all a little something now. Look at the bill. My relief from solar is $440.44. My relief from the Cayman Islands government for the fuel duty would have only been $58.20. Which do you think I would prefer? Definitely the $440. I can tell you that. That is way more than $58.20. But look at the backside of this fuel cost. Look at how much fuel cost is costing us. $625.81 of my bill. On this particular bill, my fuel cost is more than what CUC charged me for the actual energy cost, because that was only $606.83. If I only had to pay the energy charge that CUC is charging me, not anything else, my bill would have been $606.83 minus $440 for my solar. I would have had like a $200 bill to backside for using over 4,400 kilowatt hours for the month. But boy, that fuel cost killing us. Gone up to 14 cents. Now it's up to 22 cents. So the second part of what government has done is they've capped it. Again, I guess that's not going to be capped for me either because I get no relief. So I will be paying it at 22 cents. The rest of you get it capped at 18 cents a kilowatt hour. So I don't even want to know what the next bill going to look like. It can be jacked up. Next level, ridiculous. But I can't blame CUC for this. Look at the numbers. How can I blame CUC for fuel? It's their fault. Now, is there an argument to be made that the country and the government, this is why we need to be moving more towards solar? The proof is in the pudding, huh? Even on my bill, I'm telling y'all, I just saved $440 because of solar. So yes, let's get the solar program up and running at a more, larger scale. Let's do it. That's not going to happen overnight, but obviously it makes sense. Back to the PoliTRICKS now. Both the Minister of Finance and the interview that we did in the Utility Regulation and Competition Office have corrected the record. So this is what ERCO said in direct response to apparently Joey Hughes sent out a press release. We didn't get the press release. They don't even send us anything from the progressives. I don't know. I didn't see it on their page, but taking it in conjunction with what Kenneth had to say, ERCO was minded to respond. So they give the facts. The regulator said that CUC's transmission and distribution license, which was granted in 2008, who's in power then? Cha-ching, progressives, contains a rate cap and adjustment mechanism that ties annual base rate changes to a formula based on Cayman and US inflation, excluding food and fuel. The formula was negotiated between CUC and the government of the day and has applied every year since. ERCO said that its own role under the license is limited to verifying the data behind CUC's calculations and confirming that the formula was applied correctly. And that once that check is done, there is no legal discretion to block an increase the license requires. So this is what I'm telling you. In the past, there was no blocking of CUC's legally entitled adjustment. What they did was they went to CUC and begged them to consider a deferral. And it's up for CUC to say yes or no. CUC has done it in the past. But can you realistically expect a company every single year to sit down and accept a deferral? Are you willing to accept a deferral in your paycheck? You got family members that work for CUC. Can CUC come to your husband, your brother, your uncle, or whoever else work at CUC and said, okay, guys, the government needs us to defer again. Are you guys willing to defer the money you're taking home to your Caymanian families? I don't think so. Nope. They still got to pay their bills. So listen, I'm saying let's just be fair here. All right. Now, again, those of you who are, I'm not using that kind of electricity. I don't know why I'm paying for. I keep telling you, you can find out precisely what you're paying for. This is not rocket science. It doesn't take a genius. There are tools now available to you. CUC themselves has said, go out and buy the tools, right? We are not here to try and make your lives difficult. Go out, purchase the tools where you can have independent verification of your own. Here's another bill. you can have dependent verification of your own on what your consumption and what your usage actually is. We have done that for years. My husband, being who he is, he's a tech savvy individual. He likes to know certain things. You can't be doing nothing up in his house and he don't know what's going on. So just as such, let me pull up the Emporia system. We just got another one the other day for office space, but he has, let me see here now. He has, ordered and used these things now for years, and you too can do it. It's not really all that complicated. Yeah? You go to Amazon. You look up something called Emporia Energy Monitoring. Yes? You purchase said thing. And then they have the smart plugs, and you plug in your various devices from your refrigerator. You can put it on the panel box so you can see what your AC is using. The electrician got to do that part. But trust me when I tell you, it is worth it. Even those of you who have, what do you call it now? You have a electric vehicle. You got to charge that, right? And that's more CUC right there too. But they have the Emporia EV chargers. So you plug that in and you're able to pull it up on the app and see exactly what it is costing you, because charging your vehicle ain't free. Some of y'all seem to think that. That's not free. You're just paying for it a different way. You're not going to the gas station to pay for it. But you got to have a plug somewhere about, and you have to plug it in. See it here? And now the system will tell you exactly what your usage is on that device. This device is amazing. Car and Driver Magazine, Motor Trend, JD Power, Wirecutter, Inside EVs, Car Talk, Auto Week, Good Housekeeping. All of them have recommended this device, right? You can schedule it. You have Smart Saver mode. It tells you day by day what your consumption is. And the home units that you have for home use does a very similar thing. Check it out, folks. You've got to use technology to your advantage, right? This is power in your little hands on your fingertips, and there's lots of options there. Yes, you're going to pay a little bit of money to get this installed, but once you do, it's a home energy monitoring system, smart home automation module, and real-time electricity usage monitoring. You get a power consumption meter, and it will tell you what exactly it is that you are consuming. Because some of y'all, based on the comments that I see you posting about CUC, it must be that you believe that CUC has a gremlin in the electrical wires and they are stealing your electricity. That's the only thing that makes any sense based on what y'all be saying. It has to be. Yeah. But I'm telling y'all, we use it and it works. And once again, that is why I can't sit down here and cuss nobody for using electricity that I myself is using. How is CUC using it? They're not coming to my house and plugging in a computer and sitting on the computer. That is not what's happening. So get these systems. It's an investment in knowing, because knowing is 90% of it. It is an investment in knowing and understanding what is actually going on in your homes. If you're building a house, find out how you can have it installed from now. All right. Let me show you some of, like I said, you can go online and order these. Just take my word for it. This is well worth the investment. We have one at the office. We have one at home. And if all else fails and you're still questioning why your bill is so high, guess what? CUC will do an audit for you. I have them doing an audit for me right now. As a matter of fact, that reminds me, I got to turn the AC back on at the office. I can do that remotely. But I have them doing an audit for me as well at the office, because my office bill is more than my house bill and nobody's even there. So I need to understand what is sucking it. I think I know exactly what it is. Let me just Tell him I'm turning the AC back on. They actually are testing it, so they wanted me to turn off the AC for about 8 hours so they could see how much that one, pull is actually using versus anything else that's there. But you'd be surprised what you have plugged in sometimes and you're not even thinking. So I'm like, no, there's nobody there. We're not using it. Well, refrigerator's plugged in. It's not fully on yet because there's nobody there. There's nothing in the fridge. So I haven't really turned it on. Ice machine sitting there making ice 24/7. I might just unplug that because there's really nobody there. We got a water cooler that's already plugged in. Couple things here and there, servers in the server room. Everything that's plugged in uses electricity. So people say, well, I'm going on vacation. I wasn't here for 2 weeks. And say, you know what? If you're going on vacation and you don't want to get a CUC bill for the 2 weeks, you go to your panel box, bloop, pull that handle and shut everything off. And I'm willing to bet you when you get back, you won't have a CUC bill for that time. That's the only way that you can guarantee that there's no power being used while you're away. You got to shut it all off. You can't just be like, well, I shut off the lights. I did. Really? I got to tell you something. I got a tenant, right? And they're gone on vacation now. So I said, okay, I'm going to go by and do a few things while they're not here. Little upgrades. And, when you're a good landlord, these are things that you do. I noticed that the back porch fan and light were on. So I went the same day that they were there and I messaged them and I said, I see the back fan and light is on. For the 2 weeks that you're gone, that's going to be running the whole time. Do you enjoy paying CUC? Because they pay the bill, so that's on them. Or would you like me to go inside and turn that off for you? Oh, we always leave it on while we're there. But yeah, we didn't really. This is what people do. When they're traveling, they're not turning off as much as they think they turned off. And yet they're like, well, nobody wasn't there. Okay. Anthony, I'm saying, is that Frank Matfield? I don't even remember that he had run last time. That wasn't last time. That was 2022. So that would have been 2 elections ago. Damien says, remember shipping container. Who that is calling me? Hold on. Let me see what's going on here. Getting some news now. Let me see. Something breaking. Hold on. All right. So, Damien talks about shipping container costs increase, and we pay import duties and shipping costs for air and sea. Listen, you're paying for it in more ways than one. Absolutely. Damien says it's also hotter now and cooling systems are working harder. I mean, we go through this every single year. I would have thought by now, and listen, credit to CUC. They know it's coming. They know the height of your bills are coming in these 3 to 4 months in the summer. And they always preemptively, for the last couple of years, they've been coming on the show, trying to say, folks, it's coming. Brace yourself. Do what you can do beforehand. If there are things that you've not yet done, get them done before that bill hits you. If you need to do the audit, get it done beforehand. See if you can put in more insulation, more foaming, tinting the windows. What can you put on propane? I mean, help yourself, for God's sake. Good morning, caller.
Morning, Sandra. I called you the wrong number by mistake.
Oh, okay. No problem. Tell me now.
Okay. Kim and Rat, we had the pay as you go.
Right. Which, by the way, is that still in place? Because Carrie posted to somebody.
It's only a couple of us that have it left.
What do you mean have it left? Are they phasing it out?
Yeah, they're phasing it
out. Okay, because she claimed that they don't have it.
Boxes go out like that.
Okay. All right.
Okay, but all right. If my AC is not running, I'm burning 30-something cents an hour. If I turn my AC on, if she come on, it's $1.62 an hour.
Wow.
I have a what do you call it? Tankless water heater. What do you call them again?
Yeah, the tankless water. Yeah, and is that on propane then?
No, that's
an electric one.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's the other thing. That's the other thing, Curtis, because a lot of people don't realize, right? If you have an electric, just a regular regular water heater, that is constantly heating that water, whether you're using it or not,
No, but what I can tell you now. I did it yesterday to show my daughter because she turned, if she washed dishes, she'd turn on hot water, and I tell her not necessary.
Well, I like to wash dishes with hot water too.
But when that come on, it's $4.05 an hour.
Yeah.
But I can don't use my hot water and don't use my AC. It's 30-something cents an hour. But from the time that AC click in, it's $1.62. And when the hot water heater come in, it's $4.05. So, you know,
wow.
And, you know, you saw me post my bill, but the size of my bill is because I had a 5-ton in my house. And when I was changing it, the guy told me, 4-ton is enough.
What is
so
it? What is this now, the AC unit?
Yeah. The central air.
Yeah.
I put a 4-ton, but it works perfect in cool weather. But when you see this real heat, if I put her on 75 degrees, she's still up on all 80 degrees. So she can run continuous.
Right, to maintain that.
That's why my light bill is so big.
Yeah. But
because she don't start a cycle. The last May and June when it was so hot, she wouldn't cycle until about 9-10 o'clock in the night when it cooled down.
Wow.
So all day I could have her on 78.
Yeah.
But she's still showing 81, 82 degrees.
And this is a problem that people don't understand how this heat actually impacts. And who's saying it here in the comment section? Duke says 70% of your bill is AC usage. Turn it off and use your fans. Caymanians have become too comfortable. Somebody else said Damien. Listen, this is how I see it, right? Honestly, Curtis, we work too hard. Yes, Caymanians are a little bit spoiled. I get that. But we work too hard in this country for us to be sitting down sweating and with no air conditioner.
I tried that one day for about 2 hours.
And you couldn't handle it, right?
I saw my helper went outside with the children. I had all my windows open, fan going. I said, no way, to hell with this. The heck with it or whatever we need.
Yeah. But no, I mean, listen, we've gotten used to certain creature comforts here. I would say probably 97% of the homes in Cayman have air conditioning, unlike other places. And we've talked about this before because the data is there to show that regionally, we have the highest consumption of all countries in the region. That is why we pay what we pay in utilities. If we would all just shut off air conditioning for a month, listen, you would see how that bill is different. But I'm not willing to do that. I'm willing to work harder and just find a way to pay that darn bill and don't complain too much.
That's what I'm doing. But it's us that is used the current.
Yeah. I mean, the way people hammer and complain about CUC, I'm like, do they actually believe that CUC is going into their systems and stealing their electricity?
You're right, I
mean, let's be fair. Right? CUC is an easy target, but let's be fair about it. And you know what I said too? When we compared what they do to some of these other telecoms around here, they at least 80-something to 90% Caymanians. They send Caymanians to school, right? Most of their management team is Caymanians. They have more women in management than any other organization on this island. More women on their board. So they are supporting directly youth programs, baseball programs, scholarship programs, all kind of other stuff. They're good corporate citizens. So I really feel, and people be like, oh, she going on like CUC pay her bill. CUC don't give me one dime towards my bill. I got paid out myself. But when I look at it holistically and I try to be fair and evaluate what's happening, right? Being one of the best corporate citizens, or maybe even the best that Cayman has, I know people whose husbands work CUC, and I can tell you the majority, they have a very low turnover rate. The majority of Caymanians who work for CUC, they're not going nowhere. They treat their people good. I don't be getting no complaints about bad managers at CUC and this and that, harassment of workers. Them people, by and large, not going anywhere. So call a spade and give people credit where credit is due. And people like Kenneth and Joey, now I know they're your people, you know, because you PPM. I had
Joey, my first cousin too, don't forget that one.
I had to take a job at you, But at the end of the day, they're trying to play politics with something that it don't make no sense. It doesn't make sense to play politics with this because, because it's not true though, and then it's not a genuine effort. They're just trying to kick up and take advantage of people feeling the heat, quite literally, during these summer months. The government has done the most that they can do with this summer relief program. They've forgone the money that they would make in fuel. Now stick a pin. You know the money that they lose in fuel is money lost to revenue, right? To government coffers.
Yeah.
That got to come back from somewhere. So you got to be careful now when you start giving away everything.
Yep.
So they've done as much as they can do to help people. They've also said, okay, let's cap it. CUC has agreed to that. Keep in mind, CUC don't have to agree to none of this, you know. Government can waive the stamp duty if they want, but when it comes to the cap, CUC can be like, look here. They've capped that, and government is also picking up the tab on the cap. So they've capped it at 18 cents a kilowatt hour. Anything above that, it could go up to 50 cents. And this is where the minister was explaining, which, like I said, I'll play this interview yesterday, but he was explaining that this is how they hedge their bets a little bit. Because if the fuel continues to increase and it really goes up, even the amount that they've allotted for this program, it's going to exceed that. And he says that's why people can say whatever they want about him, but he is a very cautious person when it comes to the government money and finances. Because there's a degree of the unknown that is built into even this relief program, because they don't know how high the fuel costs will go. So they've said cap it at 18 cents for these months. Then they're going to review it and see if they need to renew it for another month or two to try and give people a little bit of a relief. So even people who are looking at the bill and they go, oh, I only get, $40 or $50, shows. But they don't understand they're also saving money on the capping of it. And that could be into the hundreds of dollars. You'd have to sit there and figure it out. So when they cap it at 18 cents, if CUC is actually paying 22 cents, you're not paying the difference. Anyway, honey child, thank you for the call.
Yeah, I just looked at mine. I'm burning $1.52 an hour right now.
Yeah. And thank you for
my AC can work pretty good today now because
and not as hot.
Yeah.
And thank you for mentioning that, because someone also shared here with us that CUC has a monitoring system. And again, people are not using the options that are available to them, right? So they have this website tool called Customer Connect, which shows you your consumption for free. You can go on there by day. See this graph on the screen, folks? You can go on there by day. And I've used this before because I even had it notify me, because it'll do daily alerts. When I consume so much within a day, it'll email me and said, we're now notifying you that your consumption for the day has hit this high mark. So you can set all of that up. They're amazing tools that they have built in to their website that people just need to utilize. Educate yourselves and stop blaming. Now, I know you guys have Island Energy, and that's a little bit different there, but the tools are still there.
Like how mine is today so far, I bought $11.18. Yesterday, I bought $41.01.
Yeah.
And I already bought $643 for this month.
Yep.
And I'm not going to tell you last month. But 1 cent shy of $1,200. But it's my AC.
Yeah.
It's my AC.
Yep. That
all
happens.
Right,
Thanks, my dear. I appreciate it.
Okay, cool.
All right, darling. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Morning.
Morning, honey chill.
I had to weigh in on this conversation because I use the CUC monitoring where you can log in and you can look, right?
Yes.
It's not as instant, obviously, as the meters that they have in the graph that Curtis is talking about. But you can see the very next day, you can see the previous day, and you can break it down by hour. So you can see, okay, at 4 o'clock in the morning, like I was wondering why is it that at 7 o'clock in the morning it's spiking, right? I'm like, why is my CUC bill spiking at 7 o'clock around that time every morning, or 6:30, 7 o'clock every morning? Because that's when we take showers and that's when the hot water heater comes on. So I figured that out and I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And then I'm like, okay, why is it spiking again at like 7 o'clock at night? Because we don't turn off our AC. So that doesn't make a difference, right? We don't turn it off. I'm like, why is it spiking again at 7? Okay, that's when we turn on all the TVs.
Yeah.
So you become aware of it. And I'm like, okay, it's summer. Literally, I'm trying to get cold water in my tap and it's not getting cold. So I don't need the hot water heater. Like you can turn the hot water heater off or turn the heat down so that it doesn't kick in. So little things like that you can do. And also the best decision I made, and I know some people might disagree with me, but I think central air is for big, huge office buildings. The best decision I ever made is to get rid of my central air and put mini splits in my house. My CUC bill went from $700 a month with a central air to $400 a month on average with the mini split unit.
I know that we don't like mini splits here because they're not as aesthetically pleasing, but in a lot of instances they make sense because even for me, if I was building, I would really consider it because let me tell you something right now. At night, my daughter sleeps in one room. On that side of the house, that air conditioning unit is cooling 4 rooms to keep her cool in one. You understand? So it makes sense. I like I said, Caymanians like their house to be pretty and they don't want mini splits and whatever. But from a practical perspective, you can save a lot of money with a mini split. Absolutely.
Best decision I ever made, I'm telling you, because like you said, sometimes all of my kids, especially on the weekends when I let them stay up and watch TV, all of them will fall asleep in the living room. Yeah. So that's 2 rooms that I don't have to worry about cooling. I just
turn it off
and turn them off.
Yep, absolutely.
And I don't have to run it all day. Before I was running my central air all day because like Curtis was saying, if you turn it off, then by the time you turn it on, it takes forever to cool. You put it at 7 to 5, it's not getting below 7 to 8, 7 to 9. So I would keep it on all day. Now I turn the mini splits off in the day, and then when I get home at 4 or 5, I turn them back on. And by the time we're ready to go to sleep, it's well and cool.
Yeah.
So, like, people always knocking CUC, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
Exactly. And there is a lot that consumers can do, but they simply would rather get on social media and hate on CUC.
Yeah, you would be surprised just changing out light bulbs to the LED light bulbs. You would be surprised how much that makes a difference. Little things like that, you would be surprised.
And that water heater, go tankless. I'm telling you, it makes a huge difference.
No, but I have a tankless, but even the tankless, like I said, when you can tell when.
Oh, because you're tankless electric and not propane.
Correct.
Yeah.
But you can tell when that's running.
Yeah, you can see the difference.
Automatically, you can see the difference. So in the summer months, like it's so hot, the water is coming out of the pipe hot. So you don't need the hot water heater, in my opinion.
Yep. Thank you, my dear.
Anyways,
appreciate it.
All right.
936-2626 is the telephone number. Anthony says, ask Curtis when the Connect Carry fundraiser will start. Well, apparently, speaking of electricity, which, by the way, this is how you can sign up when you log in online. This is how you can go and sign up for the Customer Connect right there over on the left-hand side. Go click on it, good folks. Get yourself sorted out. But yes, they can even, this person said, sharing this screen, that this even tells you what your anticipated bill is going to be before you receive it. So these are some of the tools. And if you zoom in and view per day usage to see what time and your consumption occurred, at which, so that's good that you can see exactly what items are consuming the power during the day. So even if you don't have the Emporia system, CUC has quite a few as part of this Customer Connect system, monitoring tools here that give you a lot of power, but you got to go in and read it and understand what information you have access to. Most of y'all are not doing that. I mean, CUC has gone to a great deal of trouble to create this program. Current month projected, see here, current month actual, and then what your projected bill is going to be. So mid-month, they can also send you a consumption report 15 days into the month, letting customers know what their consumption is like and projected to be if customers continue at current consumption levels. So there's stuff that you can do. Do it. Good morning, caller.
Morning, Sandy. How's it going?
Hey, Johan. How are you?
I'm all right. Again, the power of CMR is all of you that are in politics that refuse to invest in a commercial relationship with CMR. That way you get, because if you want to get your message out, if you want to have a captive audience and you want somebody to go to bat field and be your ride or die person, there's only one avenue that I think you get value for money on. So again, congratulations to all the smart people that made that investment. And for those of you,
but Johan, this is really just about telling the truth. I don't care who you are. If you're not honest, right, with the people. So it's like, I have to call out Kerry. I have to call out the politicians. It doesn't matter. If you're a person who navigates life and the way that you do so is with dishonesty, I can never bat for you. Me and you can never break tea or brownies or coffee or anything else. That's just how it is. People need to tell the truth.
I hear you, but in politics, truth is something that comes and goes. Because
it shouldn't, but it's in his own words from 2022, and we got the clip.
No, I was about to say thank you so much for going into the archives and sharing what Mr. Roy McTaggart said, because he was 100% Johnny on the spot. That was 100% factual, and the circumstances haven't changed at all since he shared that at that chamber forum. So it's surprising, or no, it's not really surprising for those of us that understand the politics and the and the personalities, that they would assume that this summer something could be done when global factors impact everything that happens in Cayman, because ultimately we import everything, as he said, and I think you've done a great job of breaking down, you know, the benefits of how to manage your consumption and things that you can do. You always do a good job of, and again, you know, I just turn it on, turn it off, and when the bill get high, I start unplugging stuff, because that's just how cheap I am. But you know, you do a fantastic job at that. But the point that I wanted to make, and there's 2 points really, is it's really, really, really disappointing when you have two former cabinet members. Kenneth Bryan served from 2021 to 2025 as a cabinet member. He never broached this topic at all, and our bills were, we were going through the same sort of circumstances then. Why didn't it matter? Why didn't you consider looking at the contract and having a conversation with CUC then? Mr. Hugh was a cabinet member from 2017 to 2021. You know, that conversation never took place. And again, I know that the contract exists that CUC have with the Cayman Islands government via the statutory authority OFREG. However, it seems a bit convenient now that you care about these things when you were in the opposition, yet we had the same sort of issues when you were in cabinet, and none of you felt compelled to have that conversation now. So you're either being disingenuous, you're either ineffective as in your jobs as cabinet members, or you're just complete imbeciles, because I don't understand how you can care today, but you didn't care 6 months ago, 12 months ago, 2 years ago, 4 years ago, 8 years ago. Like, what happened? Cayman's always had to import fuel. Cayman's always had high sort of CUC bills because of everything that utility bills, because of everything that Roy McTaggart said in that video. So do you think that the Cayman people are stupid? Do you think we don't understand? And I just wanted to thank you for you know, educating and reminding people as to how this thing goes. And I get the PoliTRICKS. I really, really do. But we have to see people for what they are, because, you know, the videos done by Mr. Bryan are fantastic. They're passionate, and he looks like he's about to cry because he's feeling it for his people. But stop crying and actually do something, especially when you were in power, because you had the opportunity. You were part of two governments, the PAC government and the whatever the other ones were called. But for 6 months, you didn't address any of those issues then. So help me, brother. Help me understand why you're crying now, why you feel it now. We all had high bills then too. You know, Mr. Hughes, same thing. And if you get upset, you get upset. But bro, you can call your brother at any time and he can help you understand how the contract works and what happens.
if there was any doubt about the contract, for sure.
If there was, but hold on, you were the minister responsible for utilities. You didn't think that when you were the minister for responsibilities that we had high bills then? Now, granted, we had things like COVID, we've had other global phenomenon and so on and so forth, but that also impacted the cost of importation of everything. It doesn't just take a war in the Middle East or in the Gulf that impacts the cost of importing things to the Cayman Islands. So where was your concern then, brother? Like y'all got to stop thinking that people are stupid. The people that you buy and the people that you sponsor and the people that you take money and you give to every week because your sponsors have given you money every week to buy into those people, that's your audience. But the rest of us that can read, that can write, that understand how this thing really works, and that's a large base, you got to come better than what you're doing now because you sound stupid and it's insulting to those of us that actually get it. But I also wanted to say in closing, CUC is the best service provider in the Caribbean, bar none.
Yep.
You go to Bermuda, I think they're first world. I wouldn't trade CUC for what they got over there. I love going to vacation. It's fantastic. But let me show you something. When you got a JPS that shuts down for days, and that's got investment from Chinese, Korean, and real money and real funds behind them, and they have a power shutdown almost every week. They had a recent shutdown for days. We should drop to our knees at night and say, God, thank you for making me Caymanian. Thank you for allowing me to live in Cayman. And God, thank you for CUC, because it doesn't matter what's happening. They are easily the best service provider in the Caribbean for power and utilities. But I would dare say they're extremely consistent here on the ground for us. There's a hurricane coming, there's a whatever, and they still manage, unless there's an emergency, to keep the power and the lights on. And here's the coolest part. We all know tens and hundreds of Caymanians that work at CUC.
That's right.
It's run by Caymanians, it's staffed by Caymanians, it's managed by Caymanians, and it is the best utility provider in the Caribbean. So I get costs because I'm cheaper than everybody else that I know, but you can control that. And some of your callers have said that today, and you've done a fantastic job of doing that. But I was just calling in to say, see the PoliTRICKS for what it is and the charlatans for who they are. Because when they were in power, they chose to do nothing about these same costs because they couldn't do anything. But now they suddenly have the answers. Isn't that amazing? There must be something in the opposition water that makes them do that. Anyway, have a great
Honey
day.
Shell, thank you very much. Have a good one. We're going to start wrapping up here. So Sarah, I saw your question about the Emporium. If you're installing it to your panel box, you need an electrician, and you need to do that. It's not going to cost you very much, but you should have an electrician do that. I wouldn't go in there fiddling it with yourself. The plugs and the configuration, you can probably do the rest of it yourself. So Ms. Brenda says that tankless water heaters are junk. They don't last very long, whether they're being used or not. They're very expensive to repair, cheaper to buy a new one. Other people have said they've had theirs for years and it's working good. Trini Manian says, but complaining still not going to pay the bill. Best try and use your energy to figure out how to cut down. Curtis says he's had his from 2009 when he built his house and it's still going. It certainly depends on what type of tankless water heater you have, because they're different ones. And I don't necessarily mean brand. There's actually different types. And so I would say maybe speak to someone who's more well-versed and familiar with them. Some are better than others. And I can tell you, likewise, I've had one that did go out. And I've also had others that have lasted for 10, 15 years. So it certainly depends on a number of different factors. And also when you get them, you have to size them according to usage. Not all tankless water heaters are created equal. There are local companies here who do the water heaters, like they sell them. And of course that comes with a certain warranty also. So if you're concerned about warranty issues, I would do that. But I can tell you that one of the better ones is the REM. They have different ones. They go for about $1,500 on Amazon. If you buy it here, yes, you're going to pay a bit more than that for it, but you need to make sure that the GPM is the right size based on your residential usage. You need to make sure, like this one can do liquid propane tankless water heater, stainless steel. Some come now with Wi-Fi capability and other features and stuff as well. But they actually have different sizes. That gallons per minute does matter as well with your tankless. So make sure you look into that. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Sorry for calling back. When I said tankless, I don't have a tankless. I have instant water heater.
Okay.
I bought that from A.L. Thompson, under $200 in 2009.
But it is tankless, right?
It's just one little square box.
Yeah, it's the
they
same
call
thing.
It instant water heater.
Yeah, same thing.
But mine came from A.L. Thompson for under $200 in 2009. That's still good.
Yeah. Yeah, you're going to pay more. Yeah, thank you so much for explaining. Yeah, you're going to pay more for them if, depending on the size of the house and how many bathrooms you have. Because they'll tell you, like, if you have 3-4 bathrooms, and you actually, this is the key, is if people are simultaneously pulling the hot water, then that's where you need to think about it. So for myself, I had to think, okay, I've got bathrooms that, yes, you might have 2 or 3 people showering at the same time, but in the kitchen, we're going to need the hot water in the kitchen as well. So you got to think about where you might need simultaneous pull on the hot water to make sure that the unit is sufficient to supply the house. Yeah. But they can range anywhere from a couple $100 up to thousands of dollars, for sure.
When I bought mine in 2009, then I hooked it up. I made a mistake because they say that when you're hooking it up, before you turn it on, you have to have water go into it. And I didn't do that, and it burned up right away. Okay. But I changed it in 2009, and it's still going good.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Big up A.L. Thompson.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, cool.
Okay. Yeah. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Good morning.
Morning.
I thought that I had asked you a long time ago to please come and take your agoutis out of my yard.
Take the agoutis?
Your agoutis.
Don't tell people that. People be trying to eat them. I'm trying to protect them.
But you know what? Tell me somebody that wants to eat them.
No.
Listen, come and take your agoutis out of my
yard.
But
what do they do? Do they dig? They don't really dig, right?
Yes, they burrow. They burrow. They do. And besides that, they're rodents. So I don't want them in my yard. You can come and get the almonds and the ackee shells and anything else and carry it for them. Just get them out of my yard. Anyway.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, but you do know they're rodents, right?
Well,
they are. Okay, you like AI? Go and ask AI what they are.
We can call them rabbits, I think.
They are not rabbits. They are rodents.
Lord have mercy.
Anyway, they're rodents. Okay, so listen to me now, Sandra. I got up this morning and I decided I was going to spend my morning with you.
Oh,
but
okay.
I have to tell you that
that's because there's no cricket on and there's no football on. I'm on to you. I'm on to you.
You're learning. But I thank you for that segue because I haven't heard you mention one word about any of the World Cup games.
Oh my gosh, I forgot to. I kind of touched on it briefly earlier this morning. That was a hot one yesterday.
And then
Lord have mercy.
I thought you would have at least said something to him about it. Nothing was said, and I'm saying, something. I really got to say this to Sandra.
That was a hot game yesterday.
The UC better give you credit for 3 months. Defending you more, defending the indefensible. Because in all seriousness now, Sandra, and I don't want to hear nothing about solar or anything. Solar or my light bill doubled. Let me see, this would have been the one we would have gotten. I got it in June. So that would have been me.
So that would have been, yes.
Okay. So it doubled. When I say double, I mean double. I wasn't here. And then the one after that, on top of the one that doubled, it increased again by $60-something. Now, how I leave here, turn everything off, nothing is
Well, can I ask you a question? Have you looked?
Except my fridge and my light bill can double?
Have you looked at the details on the bill? Let me ask you this question first of all. Have you actually looked at the details on the bill?
Well, how that changes anything?
No, because that we need additional information. So did your usage remain or go down? What happened to the usage during that bill?
Well, I'm not looking at it right now. But of course, I look at usage and fuel and...
No, but I'm saying, but you have to do it by bill. So if you say to me, I wasn't here for 2 weeks, so my usage went down, but the fuel factor increased by that much or more, then that's the explanation right there. I mean, the bill will tell you what's going on, you know. This is why I'm only saying to people, look at your bill for an explanation. Because based on what you're saying and what a lot of other people are saying, what do you think is happening? You think CUC is stealing electricity from you?
Oh, I'm not going to say they're stealing. I would never use the word stealing.
Okay. Do you think that they're saying that you're using more?
I do not plan to spend my beautiful days in an house.
No. But what do you? No, but I'm just saying, in your mind, what is your explanation? What do you think is happening? That somehow they're charging you for something you're not using?
That's exactly what's happening. Because I think what they have installed there is something that just charges us across the board.
So what I can tell you,
billing.
Listen.
When CUC used to send meter readers around, they read your meter, they wrote down whatever they wrote down. You got a bill. The bill was reasonable based on your usage. After they stopped that, it is completely out of control. We can't argue with them. We either pay or we get disconnected. I can tell you, I am being overcharged. They're not going to agree with that. But
So this is where I need to tell you now. This is where I've verified certain things.
Would you like to come audit my bills for me? Show me what's going on?
I'm going to do you one better than that. I've already messaged my contact at CUC. They're going to reach out to you for an audit, because what I can tell you is the person who's doing the independent verification, like I said, unfortunately, the guy who was in charge of that just passed away at off-reg, so they'll have to hire somebody else. But off-reg has someone sitting there verifying what CUC says.
Well, you know what?
So it can be that CUC is being allowed to get to do these wholesale charges in the way in which you think. It's not happening. There's independent verification.
However it is being done, it is affecting little people like me. I don't know how they're doing it. What I know is that CUC is in the business of making money. And as long as they make their money, they don't care who got paid. Just like with Flow, I do not use data. I never turn my data on. And yet my bill goes up. Why did my bill go up? Oh, because of data. I said, no, I don't use my data. I don't turn it on, period. So how are you charging me for going over my data usage? They find a way to get it out of you. Anyway, I can leave that alone. Could we talk about something a little bit more exciting? I think you really went overboard back to CUC this morning. And I think a lot of people already hauled out their bats and they're ready to paddle you. So leave us on a nice, jovial football subject. You said you watched the game yesterday, you like the game. I know you don't know a thing about football, but in your knowledge and understanding, perhaps what do you think went wrong? And anybody in your audience can answer it too. Do not look at AI, okay? Do not look at AI.
Thank you, ma'am.
What do you think? What do you think happened? This is my question to you, to anyone. What do you think happened yesterday? Why England lost the game? And I want any reasonable answer except, Argentina is the best. Argentina is a powerhouse. Just from an analytical point of view, what does anyone think happened yesterday? Why England lost the game?
All right. Thank you so much.
That's my World Cup question.
All right. Thanks very much. We do have another caller. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
I just wanted to say, after hearing that little diatribe, I want you to continue talking about CUC because I'm learning a lot. I didn't even know about that dashboard feature until you just mentioned that. Please keep talking.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. So, folks, yes, please sign up for this CUC dashboard. It's called Customer Connect. I have used it before. I don't think I'm using it right now, but I have used it before, and there's a lot of really great tools in there, including forecasting for what your usage is going to be. But listen, Ms. Brenda, they will reach out to you for an audit. I know everybody loves a good conspiracy, but CUC has zero reasons to be stealing from clients. I know there was a time when there were some, and they looked into it and they realized what was going on. There were actually some meters that had an issue when they first started to roll out these smart meters. I have actually had the opportunity to tour the CUC facility, right? And I was so blown away by the technology that they have and the level of pinpointing and accuracy that they have in their control center and the tools that are available to them. I can tell you that, again, I don't have any kind of special relationship with CUC. They're not giving me a discount on my bill. I would be shocked and surprised if CUC has the time and energy to sit there and be trying to steal electricity from anybody or charge you for what you're not using. Need I remind you that the very people that are sitting there working for CUC are Caymanians like me and you. And the implication that any other Caymanian would sit there and do that to their own people, their own seniors, their own hardworking Caymanians, I would have had, as someone who gets a lot of whistleblowing information, I just got one yesterday on HSA that's so long I haven't even had a chance to read it yet. But you can trust and believe somebody would have come to me a long time ago and let that agouti out of the bag. Yeah, they would have told me. So I don't believe it. Plus, like I said, OffReg is actually, and this is where OffReg, I think, needs to share this level of information with the community. But OffReg is sitting there cross-checking and double-checking what CUC claims that their engines even use in terms of fuel. So CUC can't be like, oh, well, it took so much fuel to power your house, and they're just making that figure up. These things are subject to ongoing audits by OffReg, and they cannot be a variance of any more than 1% to 2%. That's right. Sarah, I saw another question, I think, from you. Let me just see here now. Yeah, so Curtis said that instant water heater from A.L. Thompson, so I'm sure it's tankless. Yeah, it's the same thing. Tankless and instant means the exact same thing. You can use that interchangeably. Cameron says, Johan, back on them dry up brownies. Anyone in the line of fire? I actually haven't made any brownies for Johan in a minute. I made some the other day, and then I started eating some. Oh my God. Normally I'm pretty good about not eating my own brownies, but the other day, I don't know what it was. They just smell so good. I started eating. Oh my God. They were so delicious. Can't make them too often. Yes, sometimes, Miss Brenda, you do get a lemon, but I have personally found, good point here about the fact that, thank you, who is that? That said, we have to remember that these things need servicing. So thank you to El Melinda. Yes, Maldonado says what they don't tell you is that the tankless needs a filter and servicing every 6 months. Ooh, I don't know if we do ours every 6 months, but listen here now. You have to know that anything you have needs some degree of servicing. That's just how it is, right? Might be a different service schedule. I don't really know. But this is where you get in people like the appliance doctor. They have these servicing contracts. So you can sign up for them and they'll come in. They will service your appliances, your refrigerators and whatever. They check everything. Sometimes we don't understand how much our appliances are being inefficient. If you don't have that dryer serviced and the lint taken out the way that it should, a deep cleaning and all that kind of stuff, that dryer is not going to work as optimally as it should. And it will be pulling more current. Same thing with refrigerators. I mean, we have a refrigerator here that, I don't know, it's always making these hard, what do you call it? These hard ice, we call icicles in the fridge, right? There's a reason why it's not working the way that it should. It's drawing more electricity. So have your appliances serviced and checked out on a regular basis. Not only will it most likely help in terms of the longevity of the device, but also it will help it work the way that it should, meaning that you're going to have less electricity pull on that device. So yes, tankless water heaters need to be serviced, but so do all of your other appliances, quite frankly. And most people don't do that. Most people purchase an appliance, you plug it in, as long as that refrigerator keeping your stuff cool and keep kicking. You're not looking at temperature settings. You're not thinking about, how you have things organized in the refrigerator, what should be in the door versus what should be in the back of the fridge. And all those things actually impact how cool your items are kept, but also how much energy you're actually using. Good morning, caller.
Morning, Sandra. How are you doing?
Hey, Jonathan. How you doing?
I'm all right.
Good.
I agree with you with what you just said there, but it also, look, you're going to pay on the front end, or you're going to pay on the back end. So, in other words, if you buy for a lower price an appliance using refrigeration or what have you, that is not energy efficient, and thus you pay less money for it, you're going to be paying ultimately and probably more, I would say, on the back end, due to what you're paying for the usage. Now you look at that in Cayman's cost of living index, and I would say that it makes more sense for folks to take a closer look at the energy efficiency of any given electrical energy efficiency of any given appliance before making a choice to purchase. Sandra, I noticed Miss Marjorie Reeve wrote a comment about the renewable energy add-on price that is on all of our electrical statements, right? And like for me, I just took a look at one of my bills here for the farm, and for a price point of $226.62, mine was 0.00605% rate, and the total of that was $4.39. I want to know, Sandra, are you in a position to clarify for myself, for Ms. Marjorie Reeve, and for the listening public, what that charge, that relatively minimal but still a charge, is actually coming from? Because there seems to be this idea out there within the general public that
tell me which one it is again. Sorry.
What's that?
Tell me which charge it is again.
At the bottom of everybody's bill, you'll see the renewable energy kilowatt hour charge. So Ms. Marjorie made a comment regarding that and how that can be changed, because the idea out there is that the non-renewable energy using public is being made to pay for those who do have renewable energy. And I have a hard time believing that could even be justified. So are you in a position to explain that? Or, what comes to my mind is that it would be because of the solar voltaic field that they have out there in Peace Bay.
I'll do my best. All right. Anything else for me?
I got more for you, but I'm going to leave it at that.
Okay. Thank you very, very much. So yes, there is and this is how I understand it, and I'm sure someone can certainly give a more eloquent explanation and to this, but this is basically what it is. If we as a country want to invest in solar programs, so we have this core program, right? The individual companies take advantage of. We all have to pay for that. So yes, that is the thinking. So whether you have solar or you don't have solar, you are making, I'm just trying to pull up my bill, you are making a contribution towards anybody who wishes to get solar. It is, let me explain it this way. As a business owner, everything you do adds up to what your final product price is. What I have found is the vast majority of people who even are in business don't understand the economics of even how they should mark up their products and services and what they should charge. Let's break it down. Like I said, CUC offers complete transparency on what you pay. Nobody else does your bill like that. But do you think when I go to Foster's and I get $300 and $400 worth of groceries, do you think that in that I'm not paying for their electricity? I'm not paying for their staffing. Minimum wage just went up, right? If that impacted their bottom line, their pension contributions, you're paying for that. And that is true of any company, even if it's Flow. Huh? You understand why Flow getting rid of this candy wacky email address? Because they've been offering that email service for free. They're not directly charging you for it, but nothing in this world is free. They've been offering it for free across the region, and they no longer want to do it. Streamlining. They're not going to give you nothing anymore. You go out there and source your own email, because there's very few entities out there that is going to allow you to have free, unlimited email. You can get as many attachments as you want, this, that, and the next thing, managing your inbox, yada, 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 for your entire life. It's called COGS, right? If you've ever done an accounting course or you ever do QuickBooks, even when I go into QuickBooks, what is the cost of goods and services? The cost of doing business. And there is a real cost of doing business for entities located in this country, because admittedly, this is one of the more expensive, jurisdictions to do business in. Nobody can argue that. If you do business, you know all of your licensing fees and all that sort of stuff. No one can be in business, and I don't care what kind of business it is and who they are. No one can be in business and they do so at a loss. They wouldn't be in business for long. You understand me? Okay? And it is built in to different elements of the business. So when you take a telecom, the fees that you pay monthly, the cost of that phone, right? They may spread it out, so in your mind it's not quite as noticeable. But when you have an entity like CUC who only provides one single thing, right? They don't have the option of spreading it out except to consumers. So it's not like you're getting electricity from them and then you're getting a potato and a carton of milk. And so they can kind of spread between the potato and the price of the carton of milk, and you may not notice it. Because that's what happens in the real world. That's not how it works when it comes to the provision of electricity. And there has to be transparency. So I tell you guys again, I'm not here to defend anybody's position, but even if you go to the Caribbean Electricity Utility Services Corporation, right? So CARILEC, CARILEC, is the regional body that all of these utility companies are a part of. Go to their website. You can look it up for yourself. Let me just show you. They have a lot of data, lots of information here, right? And when you go to their website, they tell you everything about all the different jurisdictions across the region. And as much as y'all cuss CUC, I'm telling you, they are not the most expensive in the region. Now, isn't that wild? Because think about it this way. They're not the most expensive in the region, but they are the most reliable. And yet y'all still cussing them. Isn't that wild? Look here, publications. I think this is where you can see everything from annual reports. They have comparisons. Let me see if I can find 2025 annual report. I don't know if it's in this one, but they do have an area where they show you lots of, oh, you got to sign in for that. That's not what I'm looking for then. They actually show you lots of, I gotta find it now. They will actually show you who the service providers are across the region. And and let me see, tariff surveys. I will find it. I got to spend some time because I haven't been, look, they've actually redone their website a little bit, but they actually have lots of graphs and comparisons. These are all the full members across the Caribbean, from Anguilla, Bahamas, Belize, Barbados, Caribbean Utilities Company Limited. Obviously, that's CUC for Cayman. They have Punta Cana. They have Bonaire, Martinique, Guadeloupe, Bahamas, Grenada, Guyana, Jamaica, Montserrat, Nevis, however you say that, Rotan, Suriname, Aruba, Tobago, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines. They're all here. Virgin Islands, Aruba, Bonaire, they're all here as utility companies. And then you can go through and see all of the comparisons. Like I said, I'll get the sheet. I'll find out where it is for the last years, right? But you can actually go here and see a breakdown of where we fall in that, usage. And that's how we know we're the top users in the region, because they've done the research, they know. It will show you in terms of bill, in terms of reliability. All these different factors are actually available and in graphs. I will get them and share them with you all. No one is lying to you. No one has to lie to you about the reliability. CARELEC compiles that information. That's the regional body. And then they're not favoring nobody in the region. CUC falls like in the middle when it comes to the cost, the bills that people are receiving. Now, it's different by jurisdiction, because yes, our dollar is obviously one of the stronger ones, stronger than the US dollar, for example. That's not the same with the Jamaican dollar. So their dollar spend isn't the same. What they make in their country isn't the same, but they're also not using air conditioning 24/7 like we do. I can tell you, when I go to Jamaica, most people, even businesses, have the little units that we were talking about, the individual units. A lot of homes have no central air conditioning. At night, you might get a fan. You might get that little unit. Their homes tend to not be as large as ours, even apartments in the city. So they're not, even if they have the split units, they're still not even cooling the same amount of space. And they just get used to the heat and live with the heat. I'm just saying. All right, Jamaica rates are much higher per kilowatt, incidentally. 40 cents US per kilowatt, says Andrew. This is what I'm telling y'all about. I will get those graphs. I'll get the most recent ones, because again, a lot of you seem to, like I said, you don't have to believe me. This isn't Sandy here giving you facts and figures, and you have to believe me for no reason. No, you don't have to believe it. You can verify it and fact check it, and I will show you the core evidence, the information. Okay? So it is what it is. I got somebody waiting on me to call them back about a service call. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do, because I got work to do, honey child. We got to get to work to earn money to pay all of our bills, mortgages, CUC, everything. All right. Tomorrow's show, I don't know. I'm still waiting to confirm if the premier is coming on. If he doesn't come on, we're going to have the Minister of Finance, a pre-recorded interview that we did. Because remember when he was here on Friday, he promised us that he would do that interview before he went on vacation. And he surely committed to it, and he did it. So I've got that interview ready to go. And it's quite good. There is one little blip in there where I actually said Cayman Airways instead of CUC when we were talking about CUC. So I'm going to try to edit it and take out Cayman Airways and put in CUC. And other than that, we don't edit content. Right? He doesn't get questions beforehand. I can tell you, I've since torn out my questions, but I had a whole 2-3 pages worth of questions for him. I don't send him any of that in advance, because I reviewed the transcripts from the finance committee, and I wanted to understand the overall position of where the country is, the budget. Again, the opposition has made several comments about, what happens and what the finance is of the government's financial position, and he does go into detail and explains all of that and how that works. So I do believe that it is important for us to, again, have some fundamental understanding. None of us are financial experts. Don't go there. But we need to have some basic understanding of how the country's finances work, because we ultimately are the ones who are paying for it, right? We pay fees, we pay stamp duty, we pay all sorts of stuff that goes into government coffers. So let's understand how it works, how the SAGCs are supported by government. Cayman Airways just got an additional $13 million. Where does that money come from? How does that? He explains a great deal, and I certainly appreciate him taking the time to do so. So tomorrow's show, we will get into that, share that interview, and the more we know and the more we understand, I think the better we are positioned to have these conversations, and also importantly, to not fall for the convenient rhetoric of, when politicians jump up and they're sitting here, beating their chests with all kind of nonsense and foolishness. We then know, hold on a second, that is not quite right. So I've gotten quite a few memes, Miss Brenda. I can't go into the football conversation, but what I can tell you is people are making some memes that are just too much. So I'm going to share one or two of them, and they're low-key, really kind of funny. But I don't know who's England fans and who was Australian fans, but I can tell you that this probably sums up exactly what happened yesterday. There's the goat taking a piss in the little English cup there. And oh my goodness, so sorry for England. But once again, they got eliminated. And I think this has happened quite a few times in England where they've been in that position. They looked so defeated yesterday. Oh my God. I only watched the last couple minutes of it, and I saw the second goal being made, and then we knew that it was over for them. But yeah, so there's a couple ones around the Ram goat kicking them and pissing in their teacups, my tweetums. All I can tell you is there's always got to be a winner and a loser when it comes to these events. So there you have it. So yeah, Australia went through. All right, honey child. Anything else I got for you? I think that's about it. So this person says, yes, CUC affects every single one of us. Please continue that conversation. So tomorrow, please tune into the program. And someone else said to make a note that the NCFC fuel relief is for the hot summer months. So deferring it, as the progressives thought was a good idea, deferring it until later means that the deferral hits then when there is no government relief. So that's that as well. And somebody sent me their island energy bill. So they have a fuel charge as well. Same thing. The majority of the bill is fuel. Thank you so much, because a lot of us forget that CUC does not provide energy, obviously, to the sister islands. Island Energy does. And their bill, not quite as sophisticated as CUC, but it does still make an attempt. I'll show you what this person has just shared with us. Thank you so much for sharing this. It does show you again that they have a relative breakdown of, at least we get to see the fuel charge. What are the other things in between? I guess those are some of the other incidental fees. But you see current charges, $454.95. They got an adjustment. And is that adjustment then the government adjustment? Because it doesn't specify, of $123.64. But we see, where did I just see fuel? I saw fuel somewhere. Oh, there it is. Yes. The fuel surcharge, $230.79. If you notice, and again, I'm right above electricity. They said minimum. I don't know what those smaller fees are for. So where is the kilowatt? Okay, so this person used 931. That was their kilowatt hours. But where does it show you what they're charging you for the kilowatt hours? That's not where I'm not really seeing that. That would be helpful. So their bill isn't quite. Where does it show what they charge per kilowatt hour? Yeah, I'm not familiar with their bill, so I may not be reading this correctly. But nonetheless, the fuel charge, they make that very, very clear. Now look at what their fuel charge is compared to ours. They're paying more in the BRAC. So their fuel charge for this bill was basically, you got to round that up, 25 cents a kilowatt hour. Wow. Takes more money to get fuel over to the BRAC. So they have a bill. Like I said, I don't know what that adjustment is for, but they have a bill for $454, and 230 of that was fuel. Basically the same thing that happens here, but they're still paying more per kilowatt for fuel in Kim and BRAC. Their usage is way less, by the way. That's not much at all. So there you go. One more meme before I let y'all go. Hold on. This one is funny. I'm going to post this up on social media, but someone sent me this just yesterday about the current state of politics in the Cayman Islands, and it did make me chuckle. So I'll put it up on social for you guys to agree or not disagree. But look at this. So they had NCFC government building a stronger Cayman, the right work, the right way, and then PPM government. They have a little graph here of what they did, the cover up, the illusion, and the reality. Lord Jesus, they went hard at the PPM. Yes, sir. YouTuber, we'll have to get to the Miss Universe chaos. I do have something we're going to be publishing on that today, so stay tuned for that. All right, YouTuber says, Sandy, no matter what you do and what you show, some people will never believe, move on. What a hot mess. All right, so tomorrow, Friday, tune in early. We can talk a little bit more about all of these topics and so much more. Until then, you guys have a fantastic day.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels and visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.